Good evening and welcome to the We Are Rise Show. I'm your host, Brett C. Collins. How you doing on this Hump Day Wednesday? Everybody good? For all the peeps out there in California, look like a pretty good turnout so far. We'll get to that. We'll cover some of that stuff that's coming up tonight. Tonight's show, Pulte panic seizures. That's the Pulte, Mike Pulte, that is now going to replace Tulsi Gabbard on June 30th. He's going to be the new acting DNI. We're going to cover that. Swamp rats melt as Trump's housing hack seizes Spies, and Blanche crushes the DOJ. He's now going to be nominated, put forth before confirmation to be the Attorney General. So a lot of good stuff out there. Let's welcome my co-host, Marshall Smith. How you doing tonight?
Doing good, man. I just got word earlier before we came on that they're starting to fill up the reflecting pool tonight.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So that's interesting. I like watching that kind of, Trump loves this kind of stuff. You've seen all the fountains, Brett. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
The work that they've done.
Well, the whole thing about that, with just the beautification, the edification, everything that he has done to clean up D.C., like he said today, the last 14 months, it's been striking. It's been glaringly just unbelievable what he's done to that city. And, he signed an order today, an executive order, which is big. We're going to cover that in a little bit. But I think the way President Trump is looking at this and perceiving this, and he's like, this is what I want to see the rest of America. I don't know how that's going. How are we going to bifurcate these sanctuary city fiefdoms, these shitholes? I mean, I just look at Delaney Park in New Jersey and what a shithole it is, and how crazy it is when they're just shipping in all these people, and then they lift the curfew and they continue to go and attack ICE, the facility. When is this? When do we get a halt to all this stuff? When does everything so beautiful and natural come into play? It's quite a ride. It's taken us a long time to get here. I don't know when that's going to be, ladies and gentlemen. I don't. Hello over there on pill.net. What's going on YouTube? Hey, Linda Perino, what's going over there on Rumble? What's up, Nah Dog? True Terran, what's up? Yeah, I know, True Terran, you must be happy. I mean, right now, Spencer Pratt is in comfortable second place at 30.4%. Most likely, they're still counting ballots. I think it's about 60%. They got about 300,000 to go. So hopefully him and Karen Bass will move on, and we'll see what happens thereafter. So that's a good thing. So we'll get to the show right away. So just, bear with me. I'm having some technical difficulties, so just stand by. I've had a flickering going on, and I think it's something with the heat that's happening out there. So let's see if I can get this to play. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a gold pill. Comments, questions, or concerns. Let's hear your thoughts tonight. I got a lot of stuff that I got to get into. But this is President Trump today, and this came from Bo Loudon, and I want to talk about this. I think this is important. Drain the swamp. President Trump signed an executive order today allowing incompetent federal employees. So incoming right now, we're going to see a lot of people be fired or laid off, be removed quickly, and they can be removed quickly rather than taking a year or longer to get rid of them. This is part of an extension of a DOJ scenario that is happening. Let's listen a little bit about this.
Currently, with respect to many policy-making positions in departments and agencies across government, we lack the ability, because of existing personnel rules, to effectively discipline or promote people who are in policy-making roles. This executive order follows on a number of previous executive orders. The end goal is making the federal workforce more accountable and ensuring that people, particularly in policy-making roles, aren't unaccountable to the wishes of the administration.
And the reason for this was what? Whose idea was that?
James Shirk, who's here from Domestic Policy Council, can speak to that.
Would you like to say something? Come on, you did a great job.
Thank you, sir. It's been a long-standing problem that it's almost impossible to fire a federal employee, even in cases of serious misconduct. And as a result, if you have employees who are trying to undermine the wishes of the American people by pushing their own agenda or just incompetent at what they're doing, agencies have a long-standing difficult time getting rid of them. And that's a particular problem if you're in a senior policy influencing role where you're controlling the policies of the entire agency. What this does is basically treats those employees like private sector workers. They're going to be hired on the basis of merit and competence, but if they're messing up, then they can be removed quickly rather than taking a year or longer to get rid of them.
That's great. And you were very much involved?
I was, sir.
This guy central cast.
Maybe, sir.
He's like perfectly cast. You couldn't have done that any better. Were you nervous?
A little. Thank you, sir.
Would anybody else like to say anything? About either one? What about you? Come on over here. Come on, can you talk to him? You don't have to. Thank you very much. Great job. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, this customs reform EO is a long time coming for us. It helps us solve problems that have plagued the customs system for many years. We've had a system where people have basically been able to hide behind shell companies. They move from one to the next, and then we can't go after them. This EO really enables us to crack down, hold people accountable.
It's so important. I know you took it so seriously. See how serious they are? I mean, there's a love of the country. This isn't like normal stuff. These are the smartest people in the world. They can do anything they want. They can have any job, and they love this country. They just want to be here, and they hate what you saw, and you fixed it. Thank you very much, all of you. Anybody else? Thank you very much, all of you. Anybody else? Anybody? Only if you want. I'm not going to call anybody. Anybody? You don't have to. They covered you well, right? I don't know if you could do any better. Thank you very much. That's a great job, fellas.
So he signs this executive order. So we're probably going to see a lot more firings very soon. I think that there's no longer hiding behind or allowing this federal workforce to continue on lazy, fat, dumb, slow, whatever, DEI, all garbage, all going to be replaced rather quickly. And this is a good thing. I think they're fast tracking this. Perfect time. I mean, there's no complaints for me. Question is, how fast will they get this implemented? I mean, that's the key. What's up, Surf Dog? Thank you for the 217 gold pills. How you doing, Trusty Turnham? Wow, really quiet tonight. Marshall, your thoughts there, buddy?
I think it was Wood that donated that.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to say that I really like how Trump brings these guys out that don't have the corner office.
Right.
You know, they bring the guy that's in front of the cubicle. And those two guys look like those kind of guys. And, you know, it was nice seeing that, you know, and he likes to do that. I think it's really nice that he really pulls out the people that are out there doing the grind every day, you know?
Well, these are the people that are writing policy. These are the people that are putting pen to paper and coming up with how to make sure that we can qualify and quantify the workforce and to get it systematically moving at a better pace, not as slow as snail shit. I mean, when you really think about it, what this executive order is going to do, I think overall, the overarching effect is going to continue on what DOJ primarily had been put in place for to do. But I think now at this point that it's just going to be going up after levels of people that we couldn't go after in some way because they were able to hide behind the laws that were previously there. And this executive order probably bifurcates it and now has more teeth. And there's no more like, oh, well, you're going to get 2, 3, 4 weeks and stuff. No, you're fired. You're going to be terminated. And this is the protocol that's going to be in place. And there's no like going to some judge or going to like appeal this in some way. There's no, and the idea of pushing back on this is going to be far greater. I think this is a good thing. All right, let's step into what's going on with happened last night. I stayed up to about 12 o'clock. I couldn't stay up anymore. I wanted to watch what was going on. Wanted to make sure they weren't stealing it. Now, there's a lot of stuff floating around X that the Nitha Raymond, they're counting all the ballots and stuff, and you'll see that there's about 332,000 to go, 60% in, and they're trying to pull all the stuff. And we're going to show you there is some rigging going on in some way, but I think right now Spencer Pratt has a good shot of moving on with Karen Bass. So the question is, we'll see, did he get a late push or not? Hopefully so in some way, because we know what California always does. It's a late push with the mail-in ballots. So the question is, are they waiting to count the ballots to see where Pratt is right now, and then they could fill up the ballots later? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in some way. But I think the spotlight on California is now like it's out there. Everybody sees it, especially what happened with the governor, with Hilton. He's leading by 2 or 3 points over Becerra, and we'll cover that in a little bit. But this is a good thing for California because people are clamoring for change. They want change. They need change. Something has to be done. And all eyes are on this. And people, they're watching this, I think, this election, and they're making sure in some way that, hey, look, if there's any shadiness going on there, any stuff that's happening right now, I saw Spencer Pratt right now is going to file some type of, I don't know, he's going to file something some type of litigation against Karen Bass because she was operating too close to a ballot box when she was there. And I think that that she can get in trouble for that. That's illegal. And so these types of things that are happening all over the place, that's how shady they are in general. But I think overall, we'll see where that goes. Let me move on here because I got a lot more to go because I definitely want to cover the Mike Pulte panic seizure and what's going on with Blanche and everything else that is happening. I saw this today. This was also covering this, so I know you guys have don't worry, MG615, I know you arrived. It's all right. A lot of people coming in late. It's okay. Los Angeles voters sent a message last night, and it's that the Democrats are failing them. Yeah, this is a big message.
Performance for an incumbent mayor. If Mr. Pratt does not win this tonight, if he doesn't make it to the final runoff, she should still be embarrassed. Message sent by Los Angeles voters: the Democrats suck, and they need to do something to fix their city. Look, I think
the Democrats suck, and they need to fix their city. The Democrats suck, and they need to fix their state. I mean, that's it. They should be more scared about Hilton. I mean, obviously, everybody's watching this L.A. mayoral race, because it's Spencer Pratt and what have you. And this is getting bigger and bigger and bolder. But quietly, Steve Hilton edging out Becerra right now by about maybe, 10,000 votes, something like that, 12,000 votes. It's close. I mean, we're going to see how this is because I don't think they only had 49, 50% in. And again, California likes to take forever to count their votes. I mean, it takes like up to a year to count their votes, even though major countries, big countries like France and Colombia can count their votes that night and determine who won. Only California, the most crooked state in the nation, the most ass-backward state in the nation, and that's because of the rigged built-in system. And I think it's unfortunate in some way, but at least shining a spotlight onto what is happening shows you how much the people are yearning, Marshall. They're yearning for something, and you can see how the state and that map is. It's red throughout the most of the state. It's only on the western seaboard areas, okay, where it gets those pockets of blue, deep blue.
Yeah, and all Pratt, by the looks of it, all Pratt has to do is just court the voters, the people that voted for the Indian woman. Narantha or
Roman. Yeah.
If he can court their votes between now and then,
mm-hmm.
I don't think if they voted for her, I don't think that they were fans of Bass.
Right.
I think they were anything but Bass. And
that's the problem. Is that a throwaway vote or a protest vote in some way? Because people on our show on Monday were saying Spencer Pratt wasn't a Republican. Yes, he was running as a Republican. And I guess some people were saying, well, he's really an independent. No, he's not an independent. He was running on the ticket a Republican. Whether he's MAGA or not, I don't think it's either here. And a lot of people suggested, I saw it all over yesterday and last night, is he central casting? I think absolutely. If we say Mondami's central casting, then he's central casting too. I mean, obviously. So I don't know what his place is going to be. I'm hoping that he can bifurcate in some way, move out from the fraud and the grift and the theft and the cheating. I hope so that he can rise to the occasion above it. I really do. There's a lot of people that came out. Here's Billy Bush. This was good. Says Mayor Karen Bass has never taken on anyone like Spencer Pratt and predicts Pratt could win the runoff. Yeah. So they're automatically saying that right now, since we're only in 60% and they're still counting the ballots, we probably won't know until a couple of days from now because that's how they operate, which is pretty fucking sad if you think about it. That shit don't happen in Florida. That does not happen in Florida. When there's a primary or there's a general election, that shit is counted and you're done. Everything closes by 7, and by 9 o'clock you got an answer. That's efficiency. I don't know what's going on in California, but the fact is that the eye-opening experience that everybody is seeing, people are being awakened to the idea, hey, look, we can have these things. We can get these things. The push from this, from what we're seeing right now, and how the media is talking about it is another thing, too. Listen to Billy Bush, part of the media. He is there for the Spencer Pratt watch party. He likes Spencer Pratt.
Karen Bass, she's never taken on anybody like him. He knows how, and he's got the grassroots effort. There's people promoting Spencer Pratt with campaign. You've seen all the AI ads. Those aren't him. He's not doing that. I met the guy in there tonight the guy who did the Saca la Basura that's got millions and millions of views. I met that guy tonight. There's all kinds of these people who
He's saying there are many people. This is not his ad campaign working to do these AI campaign videos. There are many people that are not affiliated per se that are putting these things out in his name in some way. That's awesome. That's original. That's grassroots. He has an enduring support right now. I don't see any ad campaigns by Karen Bass. I don't see anything. Why would they? Because they know they cheat, so they don't need to put it out. They say, just vote for me. Your city sucks, and I'll make it even worse. That's their campaign, And then they have to run underneath, what do you call it? A Punjab, all right? Who sits on the city council that, hey, look, you got one that's really bad and one that's even worse, so pick the lesser of the two. No, we got Spencer Pratt. And the videos prove it. These AI videos prove that things are changing. They have a choice now. They have an opportunity to make a difference. That is the point. You didn't have a choice before because no Republican would run for the mayoral candidate. And obviously what would happen for a Republican ticket in when they would run in the Senate or run for governor, the election would be stolen. Look at Steve Garvey and Adam Schiff on how Garvey was beating him. And then at the very end, all these votes came in for Adam Schiff. All right, let's continue.
come out and said, wait a minute, can we get something a little different in Los Angeles than what we're seeing in front of us? Every one of you drives around and you see what's going on in the city. It's not good.
Billy, why are you supporting him? What do you hope to see in terms of
change? Just like to see some change. And I said this, before. This is the last time you saw a community organizer bring hope and excitement and change to his, a large populace. His name is Barack Obama. And Spencer Pratt has that, has that ability to connect with people, and he's done it.
I don't know if that was a good analogy to make to compare him to that, but I understand what he was going with this. I think that was a piss poor analogy on his part, but he could have said a ground swell of influencer based people based upon reality. They want to avoid using President Trump at all because that backfires in LA per se. You notice how they were quietly moving away from that in some way, and he throws out Ultra MAGA and a couple other things in some way, but I think Billy Bush making that, I don't think he had anything else to make. They didn't want to make it with Trump because they know they have a shot of winning this in some way. And right now, the numbers are caustic, and LA is not like MAGA town. There may be people in there that like Trump and what he's doing in some way, but they don't want you to know about it.
He could have easily just used Reagan, or he could have
said
used
something else. Yeah, he could have said
he could have used
Clint
Reagan,
Eastwood.
or he could have used Schwarzenegger, who used to be their governor.
Yeah, well,
So
he's pretty hated in California as governor. A lot of people did.
Well,
not like
okay,
him.
Whatever.
Well,
he could have picked somebody that was a liberal.
Well, from his standpoint, liking saying Obama was a popular thing over there.
Right.
I just don't. I don't see the causal connection at all. I think what he's trying to illustrate is that the groundswell. He should have made it better. That there's a groundswell of influencers out there, reality people, what have you, all kinds of people that have this support behind them because they just want their city cleaned up and they want the filth and the trash to go away. Election Wizard comes out. Don't get mad at slow California vote count. So that's for you, Curious Cat and True Terran. You guys are from California. Remember, they have to count all the Republican votes first so they can figure out exactly how many Democrat votes they need to find. That's true. The Steve Garvey, Adam Schiff is proof of that one. That is definitely true, and that's a good point by Election Wizard. I'm positive about this, though. I'm not negative Nelly. You could easily come in here and say, there's no way these guys are going to win. But I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it all. I see a lot of positivity. I see the creativity on the part of Spencer Pratt and all the people that are supporting him. I see the turnout from Hilton. He's done a great job. Actually, he's gone, I think, under the radar with all this in a lot of ways. And so my question to everybody, you haven't seen a Republican mayor for 6 decades, okay, in LA. But the last time he had a Republican governor was Schwarzenegger in what, 2010? Somewhere around there, 9, 11, something around there. So my point is, what's going to be a bigger turnout? I mean, obviously you want it for your state, but I think Spencer Pratt right now is sucking in all the oxygen. And I think in some way, yeah, Larry Elder got scammed too. I mean, but was he the real candidate? I mean, was he the right guy for that job in some way? I mean, he had some good thoughts and good ideas in some way, but I think he was too vanilla. He's too vanilla. You have to come out. You got to come out spitting hard. And I think that Larry Elder fell short on a couple of issues. Marshall, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, how much of this do we not know that's already kind of set, kind of preset, like a lot of other things. I mean, to me, it almost feels like they're preparing everybody that, this is going to be red now. We're going to go red for a while.
Well, it feels like that. It feels like that. At least the media showing it. I think there's inside talk about this, but MJ True puts this out. Here's a red flag, 39.3% vote. Karen Bass at that time had 117,000 plus. Spencer Pratt had 86,000, 42.4%. So the percentage total comes in of the numbers of the votes. Karen Bass goes up to 130. Spencer Pratt stays nominal. How is that possible? So she gained what? She gained almost 13,000 votes, and he didn't get any in that. So what's going on here? Virtually every candidate received votes except for Pratt. Again, that's why people are cautious. They're hesitant at this moment to say, hey, look, this is a deal that there's a possibility coming up. Becerra dropped and Hilton went up. So he's like 26.4, and Becerra now is like 25 point something. So, look, I just think at this moment right now, we're not going to know anything and probably till Friday or Saturday. I mean, that's, either way, whatever happens, even if Karen Bass still comes out that they're going to have a runoff, which is fine, and it'll be those two. And like he said, it's, he's going to have 5 months to really kick this up. I'm now, then I start thinking, all right, what are we looking at right now between Becerra and Hilton? And President Trump has already endorsed him in some way. So where do we go from there, Marshall?
Between Hilton,
Becerra,
I think he's doing good. I think that, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump goes out there and does something for him.
Right.
Or both of them, really, even.
Well, we need debates. We're going to need the debates with the runoff.
Yeah, he's going to have to go out there and drum up the base, I think.
Right. You're going to need debates, number one. We definitely need debates. I want to see debates left and right, especially from these two when there's a runoff that's coming up in 5 months or whatever it is. I mean, we definitely need to have it. I mean, at this point, what difference does it make? It has to be done. We're going to have, you can't just push this aside. I mean, Spencer Pratt saying, hey, I'll debate her every Friday. Yeah, good luck with that. They're not going to agree to that. You might get 2 debates out of that, and that's it. You'll be lucky. She'll avoid this left and right. Because if she knows she's got to face off on him, and she got destroyed in the last debate, why would you want to do it again? They probably want to do it earlier rather than later too, Marshall.
And they're trying to do that here with Byron Donalds.
Yes.
I mean, there's no debate scheduled, none.
Yes.
There's this Florida Showdown thing, which is nothing but a meet and greet.
Yeah.
They make it look like it's a showdown. It ain't nothing but it ain't nothing. Everybody, if you live in Florida, call your GOP, call the main, tell them we need at least 2 debates. Yeah. This is ridiculous. You can't do this.
No, it's bad. It's bad. It's really bad. And I just feel in some way, well, I'll get to that later. I don't want to talk about One Thunder. Thank you for the cookie. Good to see you. What's up, Curious Cat? Thank you for the cookie as well. And Wood USA, thank you for the 217 gold pills. You can like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a gold pill, comments, questions, concern. You can help out Marshall, Ko-Fi.com/surfdog74. Let's move on. So Reverend Jordan Wells puts out, this is disgusting. What we're watching, California election corruption is in plain sight. NBC just admitted they need a flood of ballots coming in the wee hours of the morning to lift the Dems above Steve Hilton. They said it. Let's play it.
We do have some of that. As we said, some of that early vote is now in Los Angeles. This looks like it did with that vote by mail. It doesn't look like that gap between Becerra and Steyer has changed much here. Again, this is where Becerra represented. So there'd have to be either some change with that polling place vote, or it's just going to have to be such a flood of Democratic ballots coming in after, being tabulated after election night or into the wee hours this morning that would just lift both Democrats over Hilton. That's increasingly what it needs to be for Steyer.
That needs to be desired. Are you fucking kidding me? That needs to be. They're admitting that. That's the only way that's going to happen in some way. That's the only way that's going to happen. I mean, that's right now. It's outright fraud. I mean, they're showing you, hey, look, if we could stuff the ballot as much as we can overtake this easily, and then bring up the Punjab, and then Spratt falls to 3, and then he's out. That's what they're trying to do with Hilton and Becerra. I mean, Todd Steiner spent $500 million. And what is he, in 4th place? He's not even in 5th. I mean, dude, he's getting crushed. He doesn't have 20% of the vote. That's a waste of money right there, if I've ever seen one. Let's continue on. Here's another video with Spencer Pratt putting out some good stuff. And it's fantastic. And then we'll move on to other things. I just wanted to cover it briefly because I know people were excited about it. I was excited about it. I stayed up watching it. I wanted to see what's going on in South Dakota, in Iowa. I wanted to see in New Jersey. I think President Trump only lost on one. I think it was it in Iowa? I think it was in Iowa. I think he was for Kim Reynolds' replacement. He backed the number 2 guy, and he backed Freeman or someone like that, and that person lost. I forget who it was, but that was the only one that he lost. And he barely lost, apparently. Let's look at this.
Of Zorblaxian, I have returned from Earth. This is Prax 9000, half Zorblaxian, half Spencer Pratt.
Why does the baby already have perfect hair?
Oh, this is great.
What?
The galaxy needed leadership.
You didn't even ask me. I leave for one intergalactic fishing pick. Look at him. He's already cooler than me.
The doctors say he's off the charts.
I can't believe this. To get even, I know exactly what I must do. I shall travel to Earth and find the Hawk-Tuah girl.
That's a terrible idea.
Too late. The revenge spaceship is already warming up.
Sir, that's not revenge. That's just making the situation weirder. If she can make a Prax 9000, then I meet Hawk-Tuah girl in Nashville.
Nashville.
Oh, my God.
Follow your dreams.
That's great. That's great. Fantastic. Whoever's doing this, keep it up. Apparently, there's a ton of them, Marshall. What we're hearing is that there are several people that are involved with this type of, cornering the market on this in some way. Let's hear from Pratt. He comes out here saying this. I had a lot of coverage of this. I just want to play it and stuff, and we'll move on to other stuff. But Spencer Pratt is claiming victory for advancing the LA mayor general election. Obviously, God wanted me 5 more months for exposing all the failures of the mayor. So it's going to be a fun ride. However you want to look at it, he's done his job by advancing to the next level if they don't steal. If he's able to move to the next level, then I think he's got a shot to actually win this. So let's listen.
How are you feeling tonight?
Well, obviously God wanted 5 more months of me exposing all the failures of our mayor. So it's going to be a fun ride. I hope she's ready.
Are you ready?
I mean, I was born for this, clearly.
Outside the watch party, we just heard from mayoral candidate Spencer Pratt.
Well, now I have 5 months to get deep into every community that hasn't heard my message to make them safe. So I'm actually very excited because I felt very rushed. It's a big city, and I was not able to talk to as many people as I look forward to talking to. This is the first time since 2005 an incumbent is going to a runoff. This is not a candidate that I'm too concerned about.
Right now the votes are still being counted, but it appears he'll be in a runoff against Mayor Karen Bass in November.
I'm going to continue to work hard, learn everything I need to learn, build my teams, show all the experience.
Remember this guy in the background wearing his glasses? I'm going to show you something.
I'm going to build that experience around, and we have 5 months to put the best team the city could ever dream of.
Are you going to debate Karen Bass?
And the blonde guy.
Tell her if she sees this tonight.
You know, I love.
What's he picking his?
We can do debates every Friday if she would like, because it's actually became my most favorite.
We could do debates every Friday. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I mean, she's not, as much as that would be great. That'd be fantastic. It's just not going to happen. I mean, LA, baby. It's hilarious.
You can tell just by looking at that crowd.
It's all LA.
What was the guy, the model with the long hair? What was his name? You know what I'm talking about. The long, perfect hair. He did all kinds of modeling back in the 80s.
Oh, Fabio. But that was
that's what that blonde guy reminded me.
I don't know. I don't know what that guy was.
I know. It was funny. You could just tell the crowd. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's totally L.A. And here it is. Lame-o, hilarious moment as base Spencer Pratt, Patriots crest, NBC News, and they had to cut away. Yeah, this is great. Funny as shit.
Because he's speaking out against communism and socialism, and it is a real big problem in our cities, especially in LA, where it's turned to
guys
crap.
are drinking, wearing sunglasses.
They're doing
at
it
night.
by design. Karen Bass wants
Totally
to destroy
LA.
our city, and it's nice to see someone like Spencer.
Watch this
I
guy.
can simplify it because those buzzwords are like they melt the brains of like left, leaning people. So let's just say it this way: he doesn't want a human feces.
That's the guy that plays Trump, isn't it?
Yeah.
He doesn't want homeless children outside.
Totally.
Homeless
Thank
people
you.
outside. Oh,
We
you
have-
didn't
no.
like that.
We have-
She ran away.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate
We
you.
talked a lot about the homelessness. Thank you. All right.
Look out.
Listen,
Don't
Liz.
appreciate you, ma'am.
That's so well.
No, he
Guys, I
seems
just
to
want to shout out June Cutter, the chief of staff of Spencer. She's incredible.
Thank you. Okay, Hallie, all I will say is that clearly they're taking a few shots. They're feeling good out
The
here.
margaritas are flowing there at Don Antonio's. Perhaps, I don't know for sure. Really
Look at
suspicion.
the raw
Thank
buzz.
you.
It's great. It's great. And they had cut out the earlier part because in the earlier part she said, yeah, I mean, they're having here at a Mexican restaurant, like saying that that's his favorite Mexican restaurant. Like, that's not a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Because we're getting Mexicans out of the country because he's a Republican. So she was intimating that and suggesting that in some way. But just laying it on thick. You see all those guys coming out. She couldn't handle it. They had to shut it down. Funny.
You could tell that those chicks were loving it, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they were loving that. You know, that you could tell by the look on their damn face.
Yeah.
They're trying to act all, no, the patriarch, not the and yet here they're loving this shit, all these guys.
Oh, yeah. All right,
drinking up and hanging out and doing all that. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're not a Karen Bass's thing. I mean, think about that. All you hear, I mean, did anybody watch Karen Bass? No. I heard the Punjab chick bitch and moan. She was crying and stuff like that left and right about some things. But, at this point, what does it matter? What does it matter anymore? Okay, when you think about it. What we're seeing from Spencer Pratt and the push of the Republican Party inside California and exposing it, not just exposing it, that there's a thirst, all right, for people, what? For change, a different change in this matter, more conservative, something of common sense, pragmatism, and you're seeing it. You are seeing it. All right, let's continue. All right, here we go right now. We're going to talk about a little about President Trump. President Trump, so he was MIA for a couple of days, and I think he was laying low from all the elections that were going out. He wanted them to just naturally flourish on their own. He didn't want to get out there and start saying anything. I think that a couple of days by staying away from all this stuff was a good thing. I think your background is on in the back, Marsha. You got to lower it. I can keep hearing the reverb. All right, let me continue with this. So while speaking about how, I think you got an echo back there, buddy. I don't know. All right. So while speaking how the rigged elections are, President Trump was asked by Miranda Devine, someone has to be punished for that stealing election. So how do they do that? President Trump responded. Listen to this.
We're the most successful country anywhere. So someone has to be punished for that. So how do you do that?
Well, I
you
don't
have
want
to punish them all.
Yeah, I know. I'd rather not get into it. But,
I'd rather not get into it, huh?
Something will happen.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. The election was rigged. We know who rigged the election. We know it. We know everything now. We have information that nobody thought was possible. But when you get to office, all of a sudden people start giving you things. It was a great. I'll tell you, 2024 was a great election. That was a lot. There's a lot of rigging going on there too. Because you know what? I wanted a landslide, but there were areas that were just rigged. I could see it.
So
rigged. In other words, rigged against me.
Yeah, of course.
We're the
How
most
do we-
successful country anywhere.
So that's interesting in some ways. He didn't want to get into it. He's basically saying that something is going to come its way. We're going to see something. Okay, yeah, that's great. But there was something else that President Trump was talking about And I want to play that for you right now, that he had mentioned to Miranda Devine. He had a couple of interesting conversations, but I thought one was really telling about J.D. Vance, about the next election, and all this other stuff. Let's play this right now. All right, hold on. I'm going to mute you. All right, let's play this right now.
In which you were angry with him. You said, "Are you effing crazy? What are you effing doing?"
This is about Bibi Netanyahu.
Stay out of jail. Is that true? Did you speak to him in those terms?
I did. I wouldn't say angry. I was a little bit perturbed at his constantly fighting with Lebanon. You know, at some point I said, Bibi, we got to stop this. We got to stop it. But I have a very good relationship. We've done well together. He always says, we could never have done it, but everybody knows that we could have never done it without the United States. But I've worked very well together. I like Bibi a lot, and I've worked very well with him. We had I'm a wartime president. He's a wartime prime minister, very important part of the world, and I think we've done very well. We've gotten along very well.
So he's admitted that there was a problem there. I think you have your stream on, Marshall. Let me mute you. I'm hearing reverb from your end. So let me say this. I think in some way, the problem that we're facing is that President Trump is now self-admitting that there is an issue. There is a problem. And he's also talked about the fact that they were working together, all right, to do this, to smooth this thing out. But he's admitted that Bibi's gone out of control. And the suggestion in some way that Bibi is making is that, look, maybe that Israel needs to be put the heel at this moment. But Bibi Netanyahu responded saying, well, we have a difference of opinion on how we look at these things and what's going on. The problem that we're facing right now, that you're seeing what President Trump is discussing in some way, is that he is saying, look, he's revealing to you that, look, this issue with Iran is the same issue we have with Israel. All right. It's in two different matters. All right. And the problem is how we deal with one, we deal with the other simultaneously. They go hand in hand. And that's the problem we're facing. We don't know how, in some way, that we're going to be told the truth about this in some way. But I think getting that out, President Trump just saying, are you fucking stupid? What's wrong with you? Calling him out. I think that was purposely, theatrically hatched out to some way. Whether or not he had to admit it, that was leaked out or not, I think that was purposely done in some way to suggest that he's trying to control Bibi even further, to say that, look, we have them under control, or make Bibi to look like really even a bigger monster. I mean, because he's not popular at all. I mean, honestly, like the idea that you hear that, hey, they want to execute him, they want to put him in jail, and President Trump is the only one who's done everything again to protect them. So that shows you who's really in control, who's got the power in some way. And what happens to Bibi in the future? Does anybody really care? And it's also Bibi Netanyahu, is he the obstacle? Is he the roadblock in some way that is pushing Israel to move it in through Lebanon to go after Hezbollah left and right? Is it something? And now President Trump is saying Hezbollah wants to speak and talk, but they keep bombing us into submission. The problem we just don't know. We don't know. But I think it's all theatrics. It's all made for us to see and hear in some way. So is this deliberative? Maybe. Is this working in some way to grease the skids on how people view this war and how people view Israel and Iran separately, or the totality of it? I'm not really sure. I don't know if it matters at this point. I think we have to move forward no matter what. And like I said, this is just the sidebar of an issue that people are seeing as the fallout of President Trump and maybe the state of Israel eventually, Marshall.
I think that Trump, this has already been done. It's just more disclosure on Netanyahu. This is already water over the dam, in my opinion. We've talked about these kind of things before. This guy's just being shown. Everybody's seeing it. Are you still hearing a noise? Because I can get out and come back in. I don't know.
That's fine. Let's just move forward. Yeah, just mute you when you're not. Just mute it when you're done.
All right.
Because there's a reverb.
All right, and I think that's all that's going on. I think it's water over the dam. I don't think it's anything we need to worry about. I think that most people need to hear this, that things aren't so cozy with him and Netanyahu. And they haven't been.
No.
Really, in
Well,
my
that's the revealing. That's the great revealing. The fact is that the partnership and the previous takeover or the takeover that's happened, it's all, everything is all shifting away. And I think that's what you're made to see. That's what you're made to understand, is that, hey, they're not really our greatest ally. And what they're doing is they're, let's just say, exacerbating an issue that's a lot bigger. Could we have this war settled without them? It's possible. We don't know. But is that just making the inference? Okay. Is that just making the objective viewpoint out there for people to suggest in some way, to reel in for the normie NPC class? Yes. And say, hey, look, Israel's not as great as you think they are. Okay. You know what? They're mucking this thing up. They're tracking mud all over the place when they walk through the door. That's the argument that you have to see. That's how you have to view this. But again, it's not really for you and I. It's everybody else. All right, let's continue on. President Trump also had some great stuff. He had some really good commentary today with Miranda Devine. And this, I guess, was recorded either yesterday or today. President Trump nuked the artist who bailed on America 250 celebration in D.C. This was a really good one. A couple of them said, we don't want anything that's partisan. I said, that's okay. Go someplace else. We're not looking to be partisan. It's fantastic.
Never heard of any of them. They're boring. I don't even want them. And when I heard a couple of them canceled out, I said,
well, he knows Bret Michaels, because Bret Michaels was on The Apprentice in 2010. I think he won. That's the lead singer of Poison. But for all these other people, I didn't even know. Young MC, I mean, The Time, it was Morris Day in The Time. Ridiculous. The Commodores, yeah. Good luck with that, selling that brand.
Cancel the whole thing. I don't want to. We're going to do a rally.
Yeah.
And a rally, nobody's ever gotten crowds like I get at a rally. I had 118,000 people at one. I have 25,000. 25,000 is like a small crowd. Okay?
And your music's great.
And the only reason I only have 25 is because we have the basketball arenas. And like at Madison Square Garden, I went to Madison Square Garden. Jim Dolan's the owner. He's a good guy too. And he said he's never, ever had a crowd like. So the place was packed. And the crowds went down to the Hudson River and down past Fifth Avenue.
I was there. It was incredible.
They could have sold that out, Miranda, 10 different times. She said, I've never seen anything like it. So we're going to have a rally. I don't want the music. I don't even know who they are. I don't know their music. I don't want to know their music. But no, a couple of them said, we don't want anything that's partisan. I said, that's okay. Go someplace else. Yeah. And we're not looking to be partisan. We're celebrating the country. But we're going to do a rally, a great, beautiful rally to 250 years. And it's going to be great. And I think we'll get much bigger crowds. I mean, I'm not looking to work, I've got myself a good job.
That's right. I thought you'd be a bit busy.
But I do get the largest rallies in the history of politics by maybe 10 times.
Your legacy. What do you hope people think of you?
I would like my legacy to be good guy and all of those things that we don't have to waste a lot of time with, but that I took our country and I made it great again. This country was going down the tubes. We were a laughing stock all over the world. I took this country, and today you have the hottest country anywhere in the world, the most successful country anywhere in the world, that everybody, even President Xi, I was with him in China, he looks up to us. We had a great visit, but he has great respect for what I did. He said, you've done it so fast. I've never seen anything like it.
All right. So, I mean, that's President Trump. I mean, going off on all these people that, he didn't hire. It was actually the booking, the 250, this, I don't know, NGO group or whatever it was, that put this thing together. And he's calling them out saying, I didn't hire these people. I didn't put these people together. And hey, look, if you don't want to do this, then see ya. I mean, good riddance. We don't want to, it's too partisan or security. We covered that. I mean, the safety security thing is all bullshit. I mean, the idea is that they didn't want to get involved with this, so they hate their country. And this really is about what? It's about the lefties, it's about the progressives doing, again, an anti-American rally that they're going to do with all these artists that hate America. That's pretty sad, man. Pretty disgusting when you think about it, that they don't want to be a part of it. And they're going to do this as a protest on what? This whole time frame, we're celebrating the 250 years of America. It's disgraceful. And I told you, I think is, President Trump said, 2% of, the crime out of what we have. I don't buy those numbers either, but I think that 20% is completely lost from this country, maybe a little bit more, depending on where you're at, and how we move all these people off this freaking landmass, because, it's getting tiresome. It's getting bothersome. I'm tired of seeing the crime, the filth, the anger, the murder, the rape, the torture, the abuse. It's nuts. It's so nuts in some way that there's going to be an anti-American rally during the 250-year anniversary of our nation. Absolutely. That just basically tells you right then and there that there are people that are just completely batshit crazy and lost, and they fucking hate this country. And you know what? You should never go to these, like Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine. All these people that are going to do these shows. You have reverb in the back. You got to mute your stream. I keep hearing myself in the back. Your thoughts, Marshall?
There's plenty of artists out there. I mean, of course, Kid Rock comes in, but all these different there's new bands out there that aren't from the 70s. You mentioned the Commodores. Come on, give me a break. There's plenty of other bands that
go
would
back
love
to Motown.
Yeah, I mean, you're going back. Yeah, I mean, some of them are, the Village People, they'll be loving it because half of them are new guys anyway. But that's his theme thing. Mm-hmm. I get it. I mean, you got plenty of country artists that love America. What was the guy? The one guy from Nashville that has his own whiskey.
John Rich.
Yeah, Rich. You got all these people. You don't need to worry about. You could probably get some stand-ups. You got the one guy. What's his name that played the animal in the movie The Animal? He played the pimp, the guy that was, the gigolo. What's his name? The comedian that played the gigolo.
Oh, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's short. And he's a conservative. So you've got plenty of entertainers out there that can do all this shit. I think my earphone is too close to the microphone. But anyway, I'll mute myself now so you can go on.
I think in some way when you look at it, we're going to see a lot of surprises come out because it's going to be a week-on thing that they're going to stretch this out through, like a 10-day thing. They're going to do this starting before July 4th. So, I'm not worried about it. I'm just disgusted in some way that they were trying to set up President Trump, embarrass the administration, and have these people pull out right before this. And I think that's what, and they caught wind of this. They got to this, and then people were chirping as he was saying, they were singing, and they were bitching and moaning. And it's a good thing that we have moved off this from some way. But again, that bothers me completely about how many people just hate this country and they can't come together. Like I said to you the other day, it's like, how do we have certain cultures that are going to come together and work? The melting pot scenario doesn't work anymore. I mean, we have too many different cultures that have too many different ideologies, too many thoughts, too many processes, and a lot of them just can't come together to celebrate America. They just want to hate you for the color of your skin or the way you think, or because, they didn't get paid reparations, or this one's so progressively left that they want LGBTQ for everybody. I don't know how we're going to fix batshit crazy. I just don't know. I really don't know. And I give up. I'm tired of thinking about how that's going to work, but it's going to be a long-term process. So President Trump, he says here to Miranda Devine, this is what I want to lead up to. And listen to the part. He says, I like J.D. Vance and Rubio together. I like them together. Be a great team. They're both talented. But who will be the VP of this duo? Listen to what he says, and I'll point it out to you real quickly.
You've talked about JD and Marco Rubio, and I think you sort of
good.
Putting them
They're both
against
very
each other.
talented.
So
they're both great. Well,
Yeah.
I like them both, and I like them together. It would be great. I don't know how you beat them if they're together. That would be a great team. JD and Marco would be a great team. I don't know. They have to agree to it. But we haven't. We still have. We have a long time left. We have more than 2.5 years, substantially more than 2.5 years. So
Marco's a lot older.
Did you just hear that? Let's play that again. Oh, come on, man. You fucking kidding me? It's not going to play? All right, here we go.
Marco's a lot older. Would you?
We're not a lot older, but he's older. But
14.
They're both young guys.
Yeah.
And they're both very talented.
He said, hold on, where is it? Why doesn't it play, man? What's going on? All right. It's just that he basically said, I don't want to play this whole thing again It's not letting me do it. I don't know why. Something's off with this thing. I'm having some
we
issues.
have a long time left. We have
Wait, here it is.
more than 2.5 years.
Okay, we have more than 2.5 years. More than 2.5 years. So from this date, 914 days with leap year, and that would get us to January 2029. What is he suggesting? We have more than 2.5 years. Is there something after those 2.5 years before those guys are going to what? Be a part of this? It's possible. I don't know, but he's hinting to that. He said we have more than 2.5 years to go. Let's keep in mind that it's 914 days. So this is not going to come quickly. All right. And I just think that he's accentuating that and he's hinting to that. And he's also guiding us that maybe this is going to be a lot longer than we think it is. And who's to say that those two together are really going to be the team working together? He goes, I like them as a team. I don't know they're going to do that as a team. But, let's focus on the time frame we have because we have more than 2.5 years to work things out right now. You notice how those questions are posed all the time to a lot of people, and they forget that, hey, look, there's an in-between time that we have to get shit done here and stuff. And then when he is gone, all right, you will miss him, all right? The question is what will follow. I'm not really sure. I'm not necessarily sure it'll be either one of those two. I'm serious. I'm deadly serious about how I feel about that. I don't think it's going to be either one or both together. All right. It might be something different that we're not ready for. Your thoughts, Marshall?
Yeah, I turned my volume on my thing. I don't know if you could still hear any reverberation.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I think what he's doing here is he's telling us a lot without saying a whole lot. I mean,
what do you think?
When you say that there's 900 or something days.
914 days.
Yeah, it doesn't match with what he's saying. He's saying it's longer. It sounds so.
Right.
Why
would he say that it's longer? Why would he say it's longer? That's what I'm saying.
Maybe he's going to be there 2 more years.
That's what I said.
I mean, that's
what I'm saying.
Answer.
The 22nd Amendment gives you 10 years. 10 years. Think about it.
Right.
Under 2 terms. So the first term, okay, which ended 2020. January 6th, he was up by January 20th. They got somebody else in there. 10-year span, okay? 2 terms, okay? Non-consecutively, all right? Think about that. Add that together. He's still got 2 more years after that. That's what I think he's hinting to. And I think that's what they're going to argue before the Supreme Court because it's actually in the 22nd Amendment. It actually says you get no more than 10 years, okay, under 2 terms as a president of the United States, but it doesn't say non-consecutively. That is something that's going to, again, I argue this till I'm blued in the face to a lot of people. Thank you, Darlell, for the can. Good evening, gentlemen and chat family. Trump won. Thank you for the cookie. Any chance of you played Pratt's latest ad? Oh, I just played it. I just played the one with the alien. There was one with the alien. I played that. The other one that he had. What was it? The Christmas ghost ones. I think I played that the other day. Trump won gift to the cookie. California mayor race, maybe exposure or a test to see where the numbers are or show how red it really is. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it could be one or the other, but we're eventually going to find out. Thank you, One Thunder, for the cookie. All right. So Bill Pulte, let's get to what I want to talk about for tonight's show. And I'm just going to go over and I'm just going to fast track it because I don't want to get into too in-depth conversations because I got a lot of stuff on this. But the point is Bill Pulte is a putz, but is he a dangerous putz? The East Wing of the White House is still a hole in the ground while funding the ballroom languishes in Congress. But Donald Trump is warning of some of the White House other cool new features like the pop-up UFC arena on the lawn, which he said he might keep that there for an extended period of time because they might do more of these types of things in the near future. Keep that in mind. He also talked about how the Eiffel Tower, which was originally put up, was not always supposed to be there. It was supposed to be moved to another location, but they left it. So he's suggesting in some way this arch, which looks to me like a portal. I mean, if you ever think about it, like a Stargate, when it's absolutely constructed, consider that. We're building something in front of the White House quite attractive to a lot of people, Trump said in a TikTok film of the Oval Office yesterday. The Eiffel Tower, he noted, had begun a temporary installation too. So, hey, why not have this arena? So Mark Harleton and Ben Parker will be live on Substack and YouTube today talking about this event. So this is their I think this is their kind of Substack in some way. So let me just read about this. The Director of National Retribution, because this is their article and it's good. I don't want to misquote this because I thought this was interesting on how they're breaking this down. Donald Trump is facing a host of crises at once. His political agenda is on the rocks. His popularity has never been lower, and his quest to punish his personal political enemies for their crimes. At times like these, a guy's got to make some hard choices about which priorities to push hard for and which to let fall by the wayside. And Trump's selection yesterday, a federal housing finance agency chair, Bill Pulte, as his new pick for acting director of the National Intelligence, makes it crystal clear. Punishing his enemies is the one goal he's determined to see through the bitter end. Virtually everyone not in the bag for Trump, both lawmakers and veterans of the intel community, have been left aghast. Yeah, they're upset because this guy apparently has no qualifications for the role. All right. For DNI, he has no qualifications for intelligence, CIA, NSA, NASA, or any of that they would deem, let's just say, necessary for the intel community. This is what the pushback is. And you know what? The greater the pushback, the realization of understanding that this is the right guy. That's what politicization fundamentally looks like. Susan Gordon, who served as a principal deputy director of the National Intelligence during Trump's first term, told the Bulwark, "You're putting into a messy fray. The difficulty thing is that the president already has distrust, and you're putting someone in charge that wants to support the president by going and finding things he wants to be true. Now just corrupted by the whole discipline. Gordon is right to be worried by practically any metric you can imagine. Pulte, the scion of the construction dynasty who parlayed minor MAGA's e-celebrity into housing policy posts, is an insane pick for a top intelligence role. He has zero experience, nor has Pulte earned the post by proving to be a lining of good government in his current post. Just the opposite. He's routinely earned the scorn of other DC Republicans for the clownish ideas he regularly feeds into Trump's brain. It was Pulte who briefed Trump on the housing policy built around the 50-year mortgage, remember that, which sent White House officials scrambling to damage control after Trump posted an endorsement of the idea with no explanation, no warning. When Trump posted a bizarre AI image of himself as Jesus Christ healing a sick man in April, prompting the outrage from his evangelical base, it came out that Pulte was the one who had been brought the image into Trump's attention. Do you see the communists? Do you understand the sarcasm, how sardonic this is, that they're playing this out? They're making things so unbelievably kooky and crazy for a reason. There's an image being portrayed here for a very subtle reason for Pulte. I'm going to punch you in the fucking face, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told Pulte at a dinner last September after hearing Pulte had been bad-mouthing his boss, and this earned the anonymous applause from Republican lawmakers on the Hill. He's a nut, one Republican told Political. The guy is just a little too big for his britches, groused another. I would have done the same, as Bessent said in the third. So let me move on with this. I don't want to read all this because it's a very long-winded thing. If Pulte's appointment suggests Trump intends to keep doubling down on his revenge tour, it will do little to help either his swooning popularity or his growing problems keeping lawmakers in check. I think he's purposely doing this. Now, I'm going to move out of this because here's the point. You have to consider this. So Gabbert's leaving on June 30th, all right? The idea that in some way of what under the Vacancies Act or the clause, whatever it is, of 1998, is that the vacay date starts on June 30th. All right. So when she dips out on June 30th, all right, the 210-day limit, okay, because Pulte will never be confirmed in the Senate. He will never get a confirmation. So he's going to become an actor, all right, playing a role for a certain position, all right, and that role is perfect. While he keeps his position, okay, as the FHA, which oversaw Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae and trillions of mortgage assets, and which no known background intelligence, he keeps that job summarily. Understand this, though. So the end date would be January 26, 2027, 7 months. But if his nomination is rejected, if it's ever put forth or withdrawn or returned by the Senate, a new 210-day clock kicks in. So the idea that he is now able to go around the IC community, the 18 intelligence agencies, all right, that were created after 9/11 in order to coordinate U.S. intel through CIA, NSA, and what they are is to bifurcate, to control, to basically limit the president's information in some way. All these DNI directors that came out of 9/11, just like Homeland Secretary, were there as what? Some way to filter out the information, in some way to control it. But really, it's about what? Making sure they delineate, they obfuscate it, they hide it, they control it, they make sure that the information doesn't automatically get to the president. And we've seen that in past. Think about all the intelligence, 51 intelligence operators of the heads of these type of IC communities under the Biden administration that claimed that the laptop was fake, phony, false, it was Russian, the Hunter Biden laptop. All those people, these are the people that are representative of these agencies that spoke out against that. And we know that's all bullshit now. So what this agency is in some way, and why I think that Gabbard was put in place in some way, she was able to move through the minutia in some way to get through this. But as a hyper loyalist, a yes man for the top national security role over a traditional expert, Pulte is proven willingness to go after Trump's enemies. And that's the key. Things have been set up in place. I think she's going to drop a ton of stuff and Pulte's going to run with it. So while the tantrums and the coping and the seething are going on, they're saying this is not going to work. Well, once he becomes acting director, he doesn't need a confirmation. Okay. He's not going to get a confirmation. He's going to get 210 days to go forward with this. And this maturation process is to go after what? To go after all the people that in the bureaucracy that he sees as hostile, not just to Trump or everybody out there. So while all the VAGA voices that are basically are proving the freak out that Pulte is this, while the freak out is happening, all the MAGA voices are coming out saying Pulte is the right guy, because you can't have both the narratives be this way or not. You're seeing all the rhino cucks come out there freaking out and they're screaming. And I think ultimately when you understand how enormous this is, how complex the system is, and how the snakes wither in, and how information is hidden away left and right, that tells you that we have a serious problem in the IC community. We have a serious problem in DNI. So whether Gabbard left because her husband's got cancer or not, or it's time to move on because she's going to drop stuff, and now this guy's going to come in there basically declassifying everything. Russia, I mean, you name it. So whatever she doesn't drop, he's going to follow through. And I think at this point, you shouldn't worry about it. The idea he's only there as a temp shows you that this point that the guy was put in position for one thing and one thing only, to go after these people directly, because he's not going to be confirmed, especially the people that are claiming that he's not going to be confirmed. He's going to go after them too, Marshall.
Yeah, and I want to go back to that stage they built behind the White House. I mean, it does look very different. I mean, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting just a ring, and they've got this thing that's like, it's bigger than the White House. So, and then he's talking about leaving it there, Brett. I mean,
well, I wasn't talking about that. I mean, that was just temporary.
I know that was earlier on.
I know.
But
I know. But
I had to jump up. But
yeah, no, that's fine. I mean,
DNI with Tulsi Gabbard.
I mean, about the ring. Yeah, I mean, he basically said, he made the comment through Miranda Devine, and he basically said, "Hey, look, here's the bottom line. We might consider leaving it up because I might have some more fights in the future. While I'm still president, we'll see. It could be a temporary thing. It could be a permanent thing. Again, everything is temporary." And again, he's utilizing temporary all the time. I see temporary a lot in a lot of positions, whether it's acting this or acting that. You have acting FDI, FDA. Now you have an acting position here, another acting position there. A lot of people are now just filling roles for a temporary slot because they know they're not going to get confirmed. They know they're not going to get confirmed. Yeah, Pulte can stay 210 days without being confirmed. And that's the point. But you know what? He can stay longer than that after 7 months, depending on how this is after next year. Because by then, you'll have new people in the Senate. You'll have new opportunities to move his agenda forward. And you know what? If he's already accomplished what needs to be done, they'll find somebody else to fill that role temporarily as we go forward. Go ahead, Marshall.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me that Tulsi Gabbard gathered everything, and others like her that have been there, that are dipping out, maybe even some in the FBI or whatever, who knows, so that they can gather the information. You got the information all gathered up, and then you bring in the killers that don't get confirmed.
Right.
And the killers come in and do the killing. And then they don't care what the fuck happens to them because they're just there to do that.
Right. Exactly.
So I think that's very, very feasible.
Now, here it is right now. I'm going to show you. This is Amuse puts this out and really sums it up really good. Sums it up pretty good. Recess appointments. Senate Republicans won't confirm dozens of Trump nominees, and their latest rejection is Bill Pulte for DNI. Speaker Johnson must pull the trigger and call for a recess of Congress, allowing Trump to adjourn both chambers to make his recess appointments. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, but he can take this position as acting DNI. President Trump has a lot of leverage here in some way. But again, this losing the collective shit about this really is about them. You know, they're imploding. They're short-circuiting. Just listen to some of this tethering back and forth. Listen to, what is this, Tillis or Cornyn? Listen to this.
My understanding is the Senate
That's Cornyn.
doesn't have a role in confirmation of an acting director, but
Would you like a
I see no...
See, the Senate doesn't. It's the House of Representatives that does. And that's the thing. Crawford was going to be the person, Chris Crawford, his name mentioned up, and there might be an opportunity, a new time that after the midterms are over and after 7 months that he might take that and fill that position. But listen to what he says here.
No evidence of any qualifications for that job.
Well, we don't need a...
Did he have any qualifications to be a senator? Obviously not. That's why they voted his ass out.
As you all know, a lengthy road ahead.
We have 4 more weeks with Director Gabbard.
He's another piece of shit, Tom Cotton.
To implementing last year's Intelligence Authorization Act with her to implement wide-ranging reforms that will shrink the DNI and take it back to its original intent to provide a mere coordinator or process role for the intelligence community. I have no observations on the matter.
I have no observations on the matter.
To its original intent to provide a mere coordinator or process role.
So they just want someone in there in a ministerial role, all right, to coordinate with any agencies, not to have an official role, okay, the Office of DNI that controls the intelligence apparatus as it's garnered, as it's gleaned, as it's collected, okay, where it'll be disseminated out and then gives to the president of the United States from all the bureaus. Now what they're trying to do is what? Make it a ministerial role where it's just basically a coordination with other interagencies where the information will just come to different lateral agencies, and then that assimilation of information will go to the president. You see what they're trying to do? They're trying to whitewash this thing that was created, okay, in after 9/11. They're trying to, in some way, reduce the viability of this position, of this role. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But are they doing it now after she's walking away and after him nominating Pulte? So there's something up here. Let's continue the rest.
For the intelligence community. I have no observations on the matter.
He has no observations on the matter of Pulte's appointment. That's Republican Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas, who is the chairman of the Intelligence Committee, dodging that question about the appointment of Bill Pulte. President Trump naming Pulte in an acting role means Pulte will not have to face senators for a confirmation hearing,
right,
possibly giving him more
or
freedom
even the
to
House
pursue the president's false claims about the 2020 election, among other things. That was something Tulsi Gabbard was focused on before she announced her resignation last month to care for her husband, who has cancer. Mark Parlimeropoulos, let's bring you back into the conversation here. As someone who has served the country for most of his adult life in the CIA, just your thoughts on someone not only who has no experience with intelligence, but also who clearly views his first job is to be loyal to President Trump and to go after his political enemies. He's already shown that in his current job, overseeing now 18 American intelligence agencies.
So, Willie, when I first heard this, I think I first read it on X. I thought it was a joke. I mean, the housing guy, this is a preposterous appointment. And, the kind of what went through the ranks of the former officials like myself and even current ones as well, as this is something that really should be looked at with some alarm. I mean, a weaponized DNI, by the way, not my comment right here, that's from Senate Majority Leader Thune, is something that should scare a lot of Americans. This would be Tulsi Gabbard on steroids and then some. Obviously, this is a political hack. He's made his name for himself in going after Trump's political enemies. And the intelligence community and the intelligence chief, the DNI, has a lot of power to do a lot of harm. I'd note that it's about 210 days where he can stay in this position. He does not need Senate confirmation, as we know. And so, there is significant concern right here And I do think of old colleagues in the intelligence community who are looking at this and shaking their heads. And of course, what about our allies overseas who also have great concern over this? Are they going to share intelligence? There's a lot of questions here. One key note, though, and you did run a clip of Senator Cotton, who is the chair of CISI, and he made his points very clear there. He wants to see a Office of D&I that shrunk, perhaps back to its original, intent back in 2005. And so it'll be interesting to see if he works with Pulte to do so, and that would kind of fall in the line of what Cotton wants. Cotton clearly is not thrilled with this appointment, but perhaps he can work for him. The best case scenario is that's what this appointment means. Worst case of.
So what's your thoughts, Marshall? I know there's a lot of people talking about in the chat. Yeah, my voice is off because I lost my voice the other day. Time to cut the fat and the telephone gang of information dissemination. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm okay with the idea of reducing the role. I mean, but are they doing it in some way? Because we're going to go back to 2005. This is, 9/11 era of where they expanded this out in some way. Was this necessary? Was Bill Pulte put in that position in order to do this? We don't know really where this is going in some way. Or is this to basically trim the fat, cut out Pulte from garnering and gleaning any information going forward? It's possible. I think so. I'm not sure. What's your thoughts, Marshall?
I think that this CIA guy, he's upset because this Pulte guy is going to come in, just like DNI Gabbard before him, and they're taking away the control that the CIA think that they're president.
Right.
The CIA is not president. That's what that clown in his mind thinks.
No,
in his mind, that clown that was on that channel just now, that CIA guy, in their minds, they think that they're the ones that run everything.
Right.
That's the problem with Washington.
Yeah.
You got all these agencies, especially like the CIA.
They don't like to share information.
No, and not only that, they literally think that they're the ones that really run the place.
Right.
That's what's in their fucking head.
Yeah.
And that's what's in that guy's head.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, nobody elected your fucking sorry ass.
Well, that's the problem.
Like that guy.
Everyone is playing a role in this production. I think the point is that they know have a temporary stand-in, a fill-in for 210 days will hurt them. And that's why Tom Cotton right now, who, like he said, is the chairman of CISA, that, is saying, maybe we need to walk this back a little bit. Maybe we need to close the door, tighten the reins of what ODNI has. So basically that the ministerial role that they'll have is just coordinating information so the president gets the proper information. Well, that also gives the opportunity and the viability and the availability for these agencies to hold back information forthwith and just basically say, you know what, maybe the president doesn't need this and so much. But it doesn't matter. The president doesn't really rely on that so much as what these people are put in place to do to uncover what they are hiding. That's the whole point with Gabbard. And that's the whole point with Pulte. President Trump relies on a different action of intelligence from the military kind. So I think that how we read these tea leaves and how people are assigning this in some way is really just a recognition is that all these agencies have become behemoths. They've become monsters. And in some way, they need to be trimmed down. They just don't want that information going directly to somebody that will be funneled out where that information from the president can be cleaned out. That's why Gabbard took a lot of heat during the Senate and House oversight when she was asked a lot of questions in regards to this. So whatever she drops very soon is really going to expose these agencies, and they're concerned with that. And I think they're also concerned with the fact that Pulte might move forward and with actions against them. And I think that's also we need to consider. Here it is from Observing Consciousness. Bill Pulte walked into Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and the old guard vanished. At Fannie Mae, 8 directors were removed, including Chairman Michael Hyde. There you go. Pulte took the chair. Clinton Jones from FHFA came in. Christopher Stanley from SpaceX came in. Michael Stuckey came in from finance. At Freddie Mac, 6 directors were removed, including Chairman Lance Drummond. Pulte took the chair there too. Brandon Hamera came in. Clinton Jones came in. Cody Kittle came in. Old power centers out. FHFA, control in SpaceX lineage, financial operators, Fannie and Freddie, sit at the center of trillions of mortgages, deeds, leading records, ownership structures, and financial relationships across the country. That's power. That's power to transfer inside the financial backbone of a housing system. Trump appointing Bill Pulte as acting director signals a much deeper convergence already forming beneath the surface for years. Pulte did not emerge from traditional intelligence circles. He emerged from the center of Fannie and Freddie Mac. Your thoughts, Marshall? I think that's what that's our oversight here. That's what we're seeing right now, is that he's able to go in and whittle these people down in some way because he doesn't have alliances. He doesn't have shared values with them. He didn't go to Yale. He didn't go to Harvard in this way where they work together simultaneously. They didn't make pacts and skull and bones and all this other stuff. I mean, he's basically coming in there and I think undercutting them in so many ways, whether financially or basically rooting out and firing a lot of people that should not be there at the top level. And that's what the power is. That's why you saw Tom Cotton get concerned. He wants to whittle that roll down so it reduces his power, Pulte, going forward.
Yeah, I mean, and then when you look at that little chart, that was a very interesting little chart you just put up there.
Yeah.
With DOJ involved.
Mm-hmm.
DOJ never went anywhere. Because then when you got SpaceX involved, and you mentioned that's in there too.
Yeah.
And he's working with them.
I'll put the chart back up. Yeah,
all this shit is still there. All this, none of it went away. And I find it very, very interesting. This guy, that right there. That shows everything right there. That's the map of what's going on right there. It says it all. Mm-hmm. And this is a beautiful thing. I love it. And he's at the center of it.
Yeah. Observing Consciousness, if you haven't read his stuff on X, you should. Puts amazing stuff together. I can't say enough about it. But you see, here it is. The Trojan horse, the board's reclamation, tech infiltration signal, the AI fusion layer. This is all what? To undercut these intelligence apparatuses that have become so bloated, so big, and they operate outside the courses of the United States. Some might even say they operate against many different elements and factions of the United States, and they work for other people. A globalist cabal, maybe many other people outside the government, NGOs, whoever they work for in some way, they're not working for us per se. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. And I think that what we're seeing at this engineering, that the infiltration, the AI fusion, the layer looks, I mean, this is a really good way. Fannie and Freddie, what he's putting there as acting national. I mean, he's basically going to undercut these agencies in a lot of ways. And I think when you saw Tom Cotton, the majority there in the Senate that want to basically push back against this in some way, they're scared. They're scared because they know all their power is going to go whittled away. And I think that's it. And they're doing everything they can because the intelligence agencies control these people. And all these people are sitting there like, oh, we got to do something. We got to do something before something major kicks off or something major drops.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I love it where you've got Palantir right there. Yeah. Right there, along with SpaceX and the others, DOJ and all that. That tells you Trump is using these people for doing the right. He's using them to do the right things for our country. They know they're going to make a ton of money. That's all they're worried about. So as long as they're going to do but they're being used for the right reason. I mean, you got to watch over it, but obviously. Yeah. But it's going to come and go. AI and all this shit is going to come whether you like it or not. Mm-hmm. So you've got to find out the bridles, grab the bridles.
That's why I always think that the idea of understanding about what AI and the how it cross-sects or intersects with the UFO disclosure, they go hand in hand in a lot of ways. A lot of this stuff is being disclosed right now because when AI actually officially goes online, a lot of the information is going to be disseminated out one way or another. You're going to be able to find the truth one way or another. And they're doing everything they can to slow walk this. And I think it's not working. Yeah, check it out. It's got Vineyard or something. Yeah. Okay, let's play this. Here it is. Tillis the Percent. Did you tell Director Pulte you'd punch him in the face? This is funny.
Tell Pulte you were going to punch him in the face?
No, sir. I actually said I was going to kick his ass.
Good. Okay. Good. I share the emotion. Thank you.
And as I said, that was last summer 25, and many teams have fights in the locker room and then go out and win for the team on the field.
Yeah. No, I was just curious because everybody's going to be showing that. I made it clear I'm not going to support Pulte.
It doesn't matter if you're going to support him or not. Okay, you're not going to have an opportunity to turn him down. Okay, he's just an interim. He's acting. He's not going to come before a confirmation. See, that's what they're also pissed about. That President Trump is not nominating anybody to put forth. While the guy behind him, Lucas, will be able to do a lot of different stuff, Pulte will just be out schmoozing and doing all these other things. The guy behind him is going to be doing a lot of the legwork. And so he's going to be the face of all this stuff while the real stuff behind them is actuating. And I think, look, Pulte, whether how you want to look, a loyalist, Trump guy and stuff like that, if he's going to be the next, stand-in in some way, so be it. I mean, the next punching bag, so be it. That's what we're going to see, and everything's going to get hot and heavy really soon. All right, let's move forward. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a gold pill, comments, questions, or concerns. You can help out Marshall. Ko-fi.com/surfdog74. Darla, thank you for the can. Good evening. Yes, thank you. Good evening. I don't know why it's behind here. All right, let's move on. Let's jump to a couple of things I wanted to get to. I really should cover. Yeah, I definitely wanted to cover. Todd Blanche, because that's part of it. I mean, MSN now is freaking out. A lot of people are freaking out because Todd Blanche is moving forward to be nominated, being nominated right now as Attorney General. So he's going to go before a confirmation hearing and stuff. And here's a couple of things that. Okay. So why it's hardly reassuring to see Todd Blanche take the reins as acting Attorney General. Let's listen to a lot of this stuff. They can't handle it.
Much for joining this afternoon. It's good to see you again. I know you've been working closely with many of Epstein's survivors. What does the firing of Pam Bondi mean to you and to the rest of the survivor community that has been calling for accountability?
Now, this was April 3rd.
Good news to see someone who is absolutely terrible.
Now, listen what they say about Tom Blanche.
But, I'm reading that, Donald Trump's personal fixer who literally flew to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell and move her into Camp Cupcake is going to be her interim replacement. And that's terrifying.
There you go. I just wanted to show you that and remind people that that's how they feel. And that came out April 3rd. Everybody is terrified because they think in some way there's something that, again, another loyalist, another Trump loyalist in some way, a man that has no fear whatsoever moving on. This is what they're scared. Now, do you believe there's going to be enough votes, Marshall, to move this guy forward?
As far as Pulte, you mean Pulte? No,
I'm talking Todd Blanche because he's going to be put up for nomination.
I think he has a chance, though. I think he has a shot at it, but I haven't really looked into how the other side is feeling on it.
Mm-hmm.
I would think the guys, because he seems like a pretty straight shooter, but I haven't looked into how far he's going to get, so I can't honestly answer that question. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
Well, when Trump said that he's going to put forth, he's told Miranda Devine that he's going to put him up for nomination. And then she turned around and said, well, what about Governor of Florida? And he goes, no. He's the guy. He's the right guy at this time. So the question is, when's he going to do it? When's his name going to come up for nomination? So we should expect very soon that it will be. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know how this is going to look in some way. There might be wheels and deals and say, hey, look, we'll confirm him, but you don't make Pulte acting director. See, these are the things that are in play. Yeah. The reason why he named Pulte now is he's knowing full well that they're going to play him out as a bargaining chip, okay? And they're going to aggressively deal and say, hey, look, if you pull back Pulte from that position as acting, we'll certify, we'll nominate you, sir. You saw the majority of people, Tom Cotton and all the Thune and all of them up there, Barrasso, all of them. Those are the people. They'll agree to that. They'll say, yeah, we'll make sure we have the votes for it in some way, but you got to pull Pulte back. That's what they're doing. And I think that's the reason why President Trump put Pulte's name out there as acting director. So asked in an interview on Wednesday at Podforce, if Blanche would, be U.S. Attorney General. He said, I think he will. He's a very talented guy, Trump said, and adding that Blanche, who was appointed as acting basis in April after Pam Bondi fired, was doing a very good job. I don't think she was fired. I think that's just a misquote. She's moving into another position. I think that's the way it was. She resigned to move into another position, and she's also facing thyroid cancer. So I think the fact is it's a misnomer. They say she was fired. Under Blanche, the Justice Department has pursued a series of controversial actions, including the unveiling of criminal charges against the FBI director, James Comey, and an escalation in the investigation of former CIA director Brennan. Blanche, a staunch ally of Trump, played a key role in the effort to create a $1.8 billion secretive fund to compensate Trump allies. See, this is going to be a sticking point. And I think the reason why they did pull that back is because they wanted his nomination to go through. So they didn't want any obstacles in place. But they put Pulte up there as the shiny object to get them distracted while he will nominate Todd Blanche to become Attorney General. But the U.S. federal government is maintaining an agreement that prohibits the Internal Revenue Service from auditing Trump and his family related to entities, Blanche told a House Appropriations Committee. See, that's going to be also another sticking point. So there's going to be several layers of questioning that I think the Senate is going to face on him. Whether he gets confirmed or not, I think he does in a slim margin. Maybe it goes as it is, completely partisan, 53, 54 to 47 or 48, whatever it is. I'm not really sure. But I think ultimately, when you really look at this whole thing that happened, they pulled the weaponization fund because he realized that in order to move certain obstacles forward, they might wait to let's just say, appropriate it at another time after the election and maybe after Todd Blanche is confirmed, Marshall.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think he's going to – I don't see the guy being too controversial to get through. I think he will get through. But again, I haven't seen that much. Mm-hmm. I think he's good to go. I think he's probably good to go.
Thank you, One Thunder, for the cookie. All right, let's continue on. So Scott Pecent fires off Epstein accusations against a Senate Dem and a wild hearing brawl. So apparently this was ugly today. Scott Pecent and Senator Ron Wyden exchanged Epstein accusations during a tense confrontation at a Wednesday budget hearing. A lot of his cabinet members were all over the place. Mark Wayne Mullen, Marco Rubio, which we'll cover. But this was, I think, one of the best.
Thank you. And I had hoped to keep this in terms of the economy. Senator Wyden has mendaciously slandered the Treasury building in an attempt to cover up his son having an investment meeting with Jeffrey Epstein to ask for funding.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Let's be clear here. Nobody is interested in the ramblings of a capo in the most corrupt regime in American history. We want to get some facts about this deal.
A capo.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I will ask my questions first today.
And we would like to hear what Adam Wyden and Jeffrey Epstein talked about. Your son's largest investment position was Rick's Cabaret. So did your son and Jeffrey Epstein talk about pole dancing as he begged him for money using your limited credibility?
I'm going to proceed with my questions. And Mr. Secretary, I'm going to start with regard to the...
Wow. Basically shut him out. I mean, that guy looks like he's death warmed over. I mean, look at him. He looks
like a corpse.
Yeah, and he's just reading some freaking canned fucking thing one of his people wrote out for him and stuff like that. He does look like a corpse, and it's ugly. It's ugly. He looks bad, and he nailed it hard and stuff. All right, let's get to a couple of things. Let me say this before I go right into Marco Rubio, because look, I don't think anybody's mentioning this, but I caught this the other day. This was really odd, and I wanted people to see this with Pulte becoming the nominee, or acting director, which he will replace on the 30th. This was another position. The Pentagon hires a convicted January 6th rioter for counterterrorism post. Do you understand that? Let me repeat that. It hires a January 6th rioter for counterterrorism post. Let me just read a little bit. So the Trump administration has hired a convicted January 6th, 2021 rioter to work in the Pentagon office, a rioter, to oversee sensitive special operations and irregular warfare matters. Elias Izeri, who was 19, now he's probably that was at 2021, so he's probably like 24, 25, when he participated in the attack of the Capitol. He was appointed to the position within the Defense Department, Special Operations in low-intensity conflict, the Washington Post reported. The Pentagon confirmed Izeri's appointment. telling The Hill in a statement, he is qualified, patriotic, young professional, and we are proud to have him as a political appointee as the Department of War. Let me just say this, and I'm going to read this and explain this because this is wild. Seizure will be working in the office of Irregular Warfare and Counterterrorism Section, the Post reported. The office performs oversight of employment of special operation forces in counterterrorism, counterproliferation, special reconnaissance, and similar activities, all along with oversight special access programs under U.S. Special Operations. Wow. He's admitted here on January 6, 2021. He was a freshman at Citadel Military College of South Carolina and served in Civil Air Patrol. The FBI identified him through security footage in which he seen entering the Capitol through a broken window. He pleaded guilty, entering and remaining in a restricted building or on grounds with a sentence for 14 days in prison. But during the sentencing in 2023, Seizure disavowed his involvement in the riot. How interesting. I'm ashamed because I was always a part of this disgrace. And he said, according to the Post, January 6th represented something truly horrible. Yeah, they suspended him from the Citadel. And then after a guilty plea, he was readmitted and graduated from the institution. Let me just say that. I don't think anybody's covering that because that went over people's heads. So Seizure was pardoned, a former Citadel cadet, convicted on misdemeanor charges as a political appointee. Irregular warfare, counterterrorism matters with high-level clearance. This is very odd indeed, right? When you think he's qualified, patriotic, young professional. Was this a loyalty reward test? A narrative flip for political prisoners getting now sensitive roles versus prior weaponization? Something to think about. In short, this office, all right, ensures that elite special operation units like Army Special Forces, Green Berets, Navy SEALs have policy support, finding strategic direction they need while providing civilian control and integration with a broader military strategy. This guy's like 24 years old, if that. What is your thought about that? That is a very unique hire. And would you call that a reward test?
Well, I would say he probably knows a hell of a lot more than a lot of other people there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you see some video, most people have no idea what happened on January 6th. They have no idea about the tunnel that's underneath the stairs there that go up to the Capitol on that side of the building, where the Capitol Police beat that woman to death.
Yep.
And we still don't hear nothing, Brett.
No, I know.
Can you imagine? I mean, this guy, I am so glad they did this.
So do you think this, obviously, when he graduated from the Citadel, this guy is highly capable, has a lot of information, highly intelligent, deals with irregular warfare, which is basically what Q is, what people talk about. That's what irregular warfare is. That's what that type of information. So was it a loyalty reward test in some way? Was it a narrative flip? Is he hiring people that had the skills to be and that were penalized mercifully, merciless in some way, in a lot of ways, but he only served 14 days because he had to admit that he made a mistake. Yes, Roseanne Boylan. But it seems to me this is people's eyes were shrugged. The eyebrows went up and something like that, because when you mention anybody with January 6th, they freak out. And now you have one working in the Pentagon, and all he did was walk in through a window. You know what I'm saying? That's all he did. So what was this in some way? Obviously, there's a lot of fealty and loyalty and compassion and sympathy and the plight that a lot of January 6ers went through. That's why he pardoned a great many of them. And so that pardon obviously whitewashes everything that he was facing. So his record is clear. I mean, really, if you really think about it, he has nothing on his record that would in some way obstruct his viability, his feasibility to work in the Pentagon. Yet, but we have a potential governor that's been arrested at least 4 times. That's running for governor in Florida. Yes. Look at that record. This is why I lose my head about how we talk about apples and oranges. You talk about this kid January 6th, but hey, he got pardoned, but still a problem. But we have people all over the place that have criminal records and stuff that are in the Senate, they're in the House, that are running for office, and it's okay. Doesn't matter. I got to move on. So Eric Doherty puts this out. Mark Wayne Mullen, Homeland Security Secretary, just obliterated the Indian rep Shiar Thundar. So Thundar, the Punjab barbarian, basically was shitting everywhere. He was going batshit crazy. Listen to this. He can't even speak.
Post will motivate white supremacist violence. When will you stop DHS from using its social media accounts to spread bigoted and racist words and imagery promoting great replacement theory?
It's interesting how you make those claims and give no facts, but yet your party's the one that's supporting the guy that's got a Nazi tattoo.
I have the facts. I have the facts, sir.
No, there is no facts. You throw out nationalism, Nazism, and that's exactly what causes the hatred and the violence that happens to our officers every single day. And you should be ashamed of using that.
Well, look, no, it's not my words.
It is your words.
Look
It
here.
is your words.
Here's Colorado
Did you
Fusion
endorse the
Center.
candidate in Maine?
Here is Colorado.
Did you endorse the candidate in Maine? That's a Nazi.
Let me reclaim my time, sir. Colorado Fusion Center says ICE white nationalist messaging could lead to violence. There is just numerous reports.
Who said that? Who said that? And what is they actually?
This is Colorado Fusion Center.
Yeah, tell me exactly what message you're talking about. Now, don't give me some poll that is ran by the left is talking about.
Let me
specific.
Let me
details that
reclaim
you're
my
saying that
time.
DHS said, yeah, you don't want to talk about it but you want to throw out racism all the time to my
Mr.
partner.
Secretary.
Is it true?
You know, I hate seeing people can't speak English from a third world shithole. All right. And then he calls us fucking racist. Yes. That failing upward, the compromise gets promoted. Yeah. It's hilarious in some way that this guy, okay, he sits there. All right. Can't speak a word of English, you can't even say racist. You're all racist. Thundar, the Punjab barbarian. Yep. Go back to your third world dirt slog. Makes me sick that you have people like that, Elon Omar, Punjab, and all these other fucking people. How the fuck did they get into Congress? We need to start passing laws. If you're not an American citizen or you can't speak English, what about that? Maybe you can't serve in Congress either. How about, you know what? If you've been arrested multiple times, maybe you can't serve as governor. But that's okay if you're brown, black, or fucking third world. That's all right. But you see how Mark Wayne Mullen comes right at him. He says, look, you're defending a guy who's running for senator in Maine, and he's got a fucking Nazi tattoo. He does. But never mind that the fact is that he's sexing and texting all these women his dicks, all right, dick pics all over the place, and he's running for senator. And then on The View, they're saying, well, we may not like all his stuff. He's anti-Semitic, he's this and that. But as long as he beats Susan Collins and crushes Trump, we don't care. That's what it is. So basically, it's not a race to the worst or, in some way. It's the race to the last. Because these people have no quarter, no moral. They're so debauched, so depraved, ethically compromised. They really don't really see or understand what they just want to make sure they maintain power or control power or get access to power because they want to impeach Trump. That's it. They want to make sure we whittle away the Senate, we whittle away a congressman in some way. Did you know the House today, 215 to 208, voted what? All right, War Powers Act resolutions in some way in the House. And 4 Republicans voted with the Democrats. I told you on the other day and on Friday, on Sunday, we talked about that they are planning to try and impeach Trump before the election. Yes. And they're trying to get certain Republicans on the table right now to do this right now. Yes, that is on the table right now. These are all people that want Trump. It doesn't matter at this point. That bill is going to be what? Vetoed out. But they're trying to see how much people they can garner in the House right now. It's 215, 208. So they want to get as many people as they can to vote President Trump in an impeachment. Now, will it fail in the Senate? Yeah. But the point is that are they trying to do it? Yes, they are. And that we should be wary of that. Marsha, your thoughts?
Yeah, we should not allow, I don't know how this has been allowed, that we let these people from third world countries or wherever to come in and start running our country. What country does that, Brett? I don't know of any other country in the world that allows foreigners to come in and run their fucking country.
Yeah, I can't move to France and become their parliament. I mean, what is it? I mean, I don't understand is that why don't we allow this? And you can't even speak English, calling people racist and stuff. That makes me sick. All right, let's continue on. We got to move forward here. So here's a couple of things from Marco Rubio today. Marco Rubio had some great stuff. So you may not like his policies, may not like his decisions he's made, but I assure you this is not the president that sleeps or cognitively is impaired in any way. Marco Rubio against Ted Lieu. A lot of people right now were challenging Marco Rubio today, and they got blasted. They got blasted.
Tests. We have not seen the president in 8 days. The American people deserve the truth. I yield back.
I don't even know how to respond to that, other than to tell you that it's absurd and ridiculous. And I can't believe we're in a Foreign Affairs Committee meeting in front of the House, an important time in American foreign policy.
Just keep lying, Secretary Rubio. Just keep lying.
Supposedly someone who thinks he's a medical expert when he's not. The truth of the matter is we had a cognitively impaired president in office a few years ago. That's a cognitively impaired president, but I don't like to talk about that because it weakens America. This president we have, this is a guy that literally doesn't sleep. He works day and night, long hours, every single day. I don't know if you haven't seen him in 8 days. I saw him yesterday. I didn't see him today, but yesterday because I was in Congress the day before. I talked to him at all hours of the day and night. He works inhumane hours. Okay, I've been on foreign trips with the president that he doesn't sleep in the whole flight. And everyone else is sleeping on the plane, and he's, wandering the hallways looking for someone to wake up and talk to. That people are. So I don't know what you're referring to, but he has an incredible amount of energy. I'm just telling you, you may not like his policies. You may not like his policies. You may not like the decisions he's made, but I assure you, this is not a president that sleeps or is cognitively impaired in any way, shape, or form. And in fact, is incredibly active, much more so in many cases than much younger people that are around him. Those are facts. I see it every day. You're not going to agree because you have another narrative that you want to push, but those are the facts.
There you go. That's one good one. Yeah, I agree with you, Nathan. Look, I agree all the time what you're saying. I could handle it in a couple of minutes. I go through this stuff. I mean, I read 300 peer articles. I watch videos and stuff, put the stuff together. Americans are so racist, Pork Chop Billy. Why do they come here? I don't know. Maybe because like the Somalis, like the Haitians, or maybe other third world groups, or maybe that dirt slop, Punjab, fucking whatever. All right. They all find a way to weasel themselves in like Elon Omar to grift and graft and rip off the system because they know they can. They know that there's an NGO group or something that's going to help them rise to the top in some way or get their foot in the door to what? Be part of this steal, of this theft. It's all over the place. Did you see the other day Dr. Oz talking about how bad Medicaid fraud is? It's so bad. It's surprising. And think about that. We're not even talking about Obamacare, how bad that fraud is. So there's fraud everywhere. All right. And we're sitting there and we're playing fucking duck, duck, goose. And he's sitting there. Where's President Trump? We haven't seen him in 8 days. 8 days. It wasn't 8 days. It was like 4 days. And I think President Trump was taking off because he's allowing all this stuff to happen and all these things to what? Percolate to the top. I think so. I think there's a reason for it. You know what? And if he wants to take a day or two off, which I doubt, I don't even care in some way. But he was allowing certain things to rise to the top to see what would fall out. I think they're also trying to, let's just say, find out what they're going to do about certain things right now, not with just Iran, not with just what's going on with the director, the acting agencies and stuff. I think there was a reason while he took a step back and let things happen. And I think it's eerily similar to what happened in California. I think he purposely stayed out of the fold for California to happen because the more and more Trump would get involved in some way or talking about it or at his face out there or asking questions and stuff like that, the more and more it might taint it in some way because you know how corrupt it is. You know how rotten California is to its core in some way. So you didn't want to make sure. And maybe they were also watching the theft, the grift and the graft, the theft, Marshall, in some way. There are many factors to this in some way. I don't worry about President Trump's health at all. I don't think about it at all. But you know what? I think Marco Rubio's right. The fact that we were forced for at least 4.5 years to watch that fucking clone, all right, the guy who was walking around with a mask. One day he was 7 feet tall. Next day he was a midget. I mean, come on. I mean, the idea that we're that stupid that we can't see through this bullshit and that we're forced to listen to this crap. Yes, I agree with you 100%. Congress is just useless. They really are. They don't really get anything done. And maybe because we just don't have the right people in there. We don't have enough people. But it's the uniparty in general. And you see how the Senate is working against President Trump and his recess appointments.
Well, and then when you look at his interns behind him when Rubio was talking there, they were loving it. I don't know if you noticed that, Brett. I mean, they were loving it because
Yeah.
he was spelling it out right in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
He was telling the truth.
Yep.
And they're like, yeah. You know, and then when we got this, what do we got? Last week and this week have been kind of a slow news week. Like this week and that, it hasn't been. So what's going on, Brett? Like you mentioned, is there something behind the scenes? Are we just waiting for the next?
Well, that executive order he signed today, basically he's going to fast forward firings. Basically, he's going to cut the red tape, the bureaucratic tape, and he's going to be able to fire people through what DOJ had set up. So I think we should be expecting a lot of people to be fired and laid off in a lot of different positions. And that's a good thing. Trump one, thank you for the cookie. Wood USA, thank you for the 709 gold pills. Need more gold pill love. Support the boy stream. Thank you. Thank you, One Thunder, for the cookie. Let's continue on here. All right. So here's some more Marco Rubio, some good stuff. I'll just let this play. This is fantastic stuff.
The top 15. Not once did you mention Ukraine when you were prioritizing the achievement that's there. Now let me go on.
Tried to stay under.
Let me
5
go
minutes.
on. Oh, you tried to stay. Yeah, please.
Well, I
It's
can
not
answer
funny.
that.
It's not funny, Secretary. Now,
What's not funny
in
is
Iran
that-
now.
Well, you don't.
In
this is-
Iran
you
now,
can't even
I
answer
reclaim
questions
my
here.
time. I reclaim my time, Mr. Chairman.
You
He's
guys make these
interrupting me.
statements and no
He
one can
is
respond.
interrupting me. I'm doing it. I'm asking you to reclaim those seconds back.
No.
Now in Iran, what goes around comes around, Mr. Chairman. Now in Iran.
It's fantastic. I mean, they just came in there to attack Marco Rubio, to just smear him, besmirch him. I mean, it's a shit show. Now watch this bagel schmear cream cheese with salmon and capers. This lox bagel. Listen to this lox bagel. Jacobs, who won 2020. I'm not answering about 2020. This is Foreign Affairs Committee. This is hilarious. Watch this bagel.
Last question for you. Mr. Secretary, who won the 2020 presidential election?
I'm not here to answer about 2020. This is a foreign affairs committee.
Okay, great. You
Opine
can't
on
answer the
political
question,
No, I
even
don't
though we
answer the
all
Lock
know
schmear.
I don't
President
answer the
Biden won.
question because as Secretary of State, I do not participate in domestic
This is
political
not about
issues.
domestic political issues.
certainly
This is
is.
about our democracy.
You're asking me to opine just like I don't do campaign
It
rallies.
seems like
I don't
you-
do because as
it's-
Secretary of State, we're not supposed to. That's been the long tradition of the department, and you should know that if you've been on this committee for any period of time. And
Mr. Secretary, it seems like you have an issue admitting facts. You can't say that the president lost the 2020 election, just like you won't admit President Trump is losing this reckless war of choice, and just like you couldn't admit that the shoes the president bought you were too big. You clearly don't know what winning means, and not because the facts are unclear to you. It's
Well,
because
who's she
telling the
reading?
truth,
That's
the
a
truth
canned
is costing
response.
you
Do you see
jobs,
that?
And the American people are entitled to a Secretary of State who tells them the truth, even when the president doesn't want to hear it. And my constituents, our service members, deserve better. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
I don't know what shoes she's talking about. What is she talking about?
Representative Burchett, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you'd like to answer any of that.
Yeah, I don't know about the
I'll
shoes.
give
I mean,
you a
he gave me
minute.
some Florsheim shoes. They're actually pretty good. They fit fine. I don't know what he's referring to.
Your shoes look very nice today, Mr. Secretary.
How can you see them? They're way down here.
Ah!
Are you guys kidding me? I mean, is this the Foreign Affairs Committee or is this like a circus? What is this?
I think it's a
Let's go.
circus.
I think it's the circus. It's great. Marco Rubio just destroying them, as he should. I mean, he's above all this stuff. He's like, why do I got to come here and listen to this? Why do I have to talk to you? You people aren't serious. You're not serious. They're not. They're all embarrassing. Okay. And all they do is bitch and moan. And this is probably, I think, one of the best ones today. I like this one a lot. Marco Rubio was just really good, hammering away. And I thought it was interesting, Trump speaking to Miranda Devine, talking about Rubio, talking about them together. Like I said, I don't know if they're going to be paired together. It's going to be separate. But this is going to be a longer road than we think it is. And it's not going to come as quickly in 2.5 years as President Trump was expounding on. It's a lot longer than we think it is and what we can understand it is, what we can process is. Think 10 years under the 22nd Amendment, not consecutively, but that's what a president is afforded. His 4 years, that's 2 terms, and then 2 more years after. That's what I think he's hinting to. Let's continue on. So he says here, Democrat Congresswoman just screamed at Marco Rubio, then stormed out of hearing. This is hilarious. This is all they do. This is all they do. This is funny.
Why is she leaving? I'm going to answer her questions.
I will.
Oh, she's going. Okay, I got it. Well, thank you for coming.
All right, so we're going to talk about. I just want to.
Unfortunately, Representative time has expired. Representative Salazar is recognized.
Yes. And giving contracts with no transparency is
borrow your
exactly
time
the
to
reason why you shut down USAID. So practice what you preach. I yield my time.
She gets to scream now too?
Chairman, can we take down her words?
I'll give you some time. I'll give you some of my time. Then you just
Okay.
Just
Oh God,
change
what
the
kind of thing
energy.
is this? What is this? You get asked questions for 5 minutes and you don't get time to answer. It's not a hearing.
I think you said clown
Like a
show
dunk
before.
tank.
I
What
don't,
is
I don't
this?
have to tell you. I don't.
Dunk tank.
I've even used their time. How can I answer the question? They don't even give me time. I've had to use their time to answer your question.
All right, that's enough. I don't like Salazar anyway. She wants amnesty for all illegals and all these other people. See, she doesn't care about Cubans because they automatically get amnesty. She wants for the rest of the Latin community to do it. And there's a lot of Republicans in there that are trying to push that. That ain't going to happen, Marshall.
Yeah, I watched this earlier and I just we look at this. And look, man, to the ladies out there that are conservatives, this ain't a hit on you. But this is a perfect example of why women should not be leading our country. I'm sorry. You can be mad at me. That's my opinion. I think it's a horrible thing. Look at what they did there. They created a fucking circus.
Yeah, I know.
They're all laughing and giggling. I'm sorry, Brett.
No, I know. Listen,
conservative
there's
women,
a whole,
I'm not
there's a
that-
whole
I'm not-
push. There's a whole push on X of saying we need the 19th, remove the 19th Amendment. I don't believe in that. That means you don't give the women the right to vote. But when you understand when people act out like this, all right, and usually it only comes from the Democrat side because they're third worlders, they're black, they're Latino, or they're just fucking DI hire idiots and stuff like that, like Elon Omar or AOC, that they're cast of characters in some way. That's what is representative. You hardly ever see Republican conservative women act like this. You really don't.
I'm not saying them. I'm not saying them.
No, it's only one brand of people that cannot control their emotional intelligence.
Yeah, the liberal women are out of control. They will destroy. And I think it's even in the Bible that, they will be the destruction of humankind. This is not good, man.
No, I know.
We need to go back to having families and breeding and having kids. Go ahead.
Okay,
bro.
so we need to Secretary Rubio hit the smirk of the year. Greenland is part of Denmark. Listen to this. Hello, Greenland. This is funny. Listen.
You're aware that Greenland is indeed part of Denmark.
For now.
Okay. Well, I want to focus in on
For now. Let me play that again. Did you see that? For now, and that smirk.
And I assume you're aware that Greenland is indeed part of Denmark.
For now.
Okay. Well, I want to focus in on Greenland.
For now. And that she went over there in some way. So there's a push of these liberal, crazy Democrats, progressives that are out there that are trying to block President Trump from taking over Greenland by going over there, all right, and talking to Copenhagen and basically and stuff and involving themselves in things they shouldn't be involved in some way. But I think the idea what Marco Rubio was hinting to, he goes, for now. So they know something is going to take place. They know that very soon, eventually, a deal will be made where Greenland will be part of the United States. Whether that happens or not, I don't think it really matters at this point, but I think that was a fair assessment of understanding. Let me do a couple of things before we dip out. Thank you, Thea, for the 800 gold pills. Good to see you coming in here tonight. All right, a couple other things. I wanted to get to that murder case over the decision that happened. The cop resigned over in Great Britain. I want to cover that. Maybe I'll cover that on Friday when I'm here Friday, but I want to cover a couple other things before we dip out of here. So I didn't know about this. So yeah, I want to play this. This is for our Florida peeps. I want to discuss this. I really, because the primaries are happening all over the place. And we have something we have to worry about here in Florida. We're voting for our next governor in this primary race. You got Fishback, you got Jay Collins, lieutenant governor, and you got this guy. And this guy, I don't know why this guy is selected. He's been arrested 3 times. He was arrested selling with intent marijuana back in the day. That was in 98, 2000. What does it matter? But he's arrested. He's got fraud charges against him. I don't know if it went anywhere. There's a lot of things with this guy's background that worries me. And with the problem we're facing in Florida, with this takeover and all these things, this doesn't sit well with me at all. And I don't want to have to hold my nose if he wins in the primary to vote against a Democrat, because his polling And I also believe Ashley Mooding's polling. She's the one who replaced Marco Rubio, who basically now is running in her seat this year to secure it. Also has good numbers against a Democrat. And I believe that's why the support is being thrown out there.
Up women in general.
Excuse me? I'm talking about something here. I don't, hold on. Can you mute yourself? I don't know. All right, let me continue on here. All right, so the problem we're facing right now is that we're having a bunch of issues that are happening with Byron Donalds. Now, there's Fishback, you got Jay Collins and stuff, but I don't know what's going to take place in some way that we're going to have to fix this. So our supporters have outdone themselves, and this is a good one. This is really good. I got another one too.
Please don't allow any more data centers. My electricity bill has already gone up 4 times and we don't have any more clean water. Get this peasant out of my office.
Please stop. You're hurting him. What's wrong, honey?
I had a nightmare that I didn't vote in the August 18th Republican primary.
That's funny. That's funny. I got another one that's really good. Just mute your stream if you're talking, because I gotta continue.
No, I'm sorry. That was my bad.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I gotta, you're malfunctioning today, my friend. All right, let's continue. So Jay Collins put another one out, and I like Jay Collins. And, I'm leaning towards voting him in the primary only for this reason, because I have a lot of issues. But again, if he does not win, what are my options? Because I can never vote for a Democrat. And that's the problem we face here, because the poll numbers look so good. But I think there's something, and this reminds me of what a Pratt situation is. They are very two different candidates in a lot of ways. I'm just going to play this right now.
Big tech.
This is a good one.
Florida's thirsty and the servers keep smiling. He says his job, he says his growth. Same old pitch in a brand new coat. Follow the money, follow the wires, follow the favors and backroom buyers. They want our water, they want our land, they want the grid in the palm of their hand. Call it progress, call it smart. Looks like a sellout from the start. Data center Donalds, don't you lie. Draining the account for while the bills climb high. Big tech bros get the VIP seat. Florida families catch the heat. Oh no, don't try. The servers get rich while the wells run dry. Concrete castles, cooling fans loud. Lobbyists laughing in the donor crowd. Stock watch smiling, a handshake deal. Funny how the swamp always knows what's real. They say AI is the future now, but nobody says who pays and how. If the taps run low and the grid gets weak, Byron's friends still cash out clean. Data center Donalds, don't you lie. Draining the aquifer while the bills climb high. Big tech bros get the VIP seat. Florida families catch the heat. Oh no, don't try. The servers get rich.
Alphabet Omega Pill. Brett, do you think fucking boomers and the villagers are going to still vote for this prick? Vote for who? Jay Collins? Or are you talking about Byron Donalds? All right, I'm gonna end this because it's really good. Trump 1, thank you for the cookie. I see it. Wood USA, thank you for the 409 gold pills. Need more gold pill love. Thank you, Thea, for the can, and thank you, Thea, for donating 800 gold pills. Nacion says here, Marshall, laugh out loud, women here. Nacion says that laugh out loud, women here. I agree with Marshall. Yeah, so I mean, it's all a clown show. And I agree about the women. There are a lot of people that feel that way. And what Marshall was trying to say is that he's basically, and I was basically catering the idea, we're talking specifically about a certain group of people that are progressive lefties that cannot control themselves. They cannot control themselves. They find themselves in these positions just basically with low EQ, low emotional intelligence, and they're scripted and canned responses to the Secretary of State. They have no class, nothing. They yell at them, they scream at them, and it's embarrassing. You see Marco Rubio sitting there, and it's like, I'm here for a foreign affairs discussion, and you can't fucking talk to me because you're either on your period or you've been fucking vaxxed 100 times, or you're fucking estrogen or testosterone is all over the place, or you're just you can't they can't control themselves. They cannot control themselves, and they're so hyperbolic it doesn't matter. Yes. And it's always on the left. It's always on the left. Now, I mean, it's majority of that, I'll say. It's not always on that. But I don't really see too many of Republican women that are just, you know what I'm saying? There are some that are a little hot and heavy. Anna Paulina Luna is loud. Bobart was loud. I mean, Nancy Mace is loud. And she's running for governor. That's not going to work for her. There's many other people that left the party. MTG, she's a spitfire in some ways, all these other people and stuff. But when you're speaking to the Secretary of State and you're just acting like that and screaming at him, it's just embarrassing in so many ways. It really is. I can't answer that question, Alpha Mega Pill. Maybe Marshall can. Do you think Donald's is going to, is the Villages? You think the Villages? Because that's a good question.
I already said no.
You said, oh, okay. You said
They're
no.
not. No, I live 30 minutes from them.
Okay.
And I watch what the local news here carries a lot of the shit that goes on over there.
Oh, yeah?
It doesn't carry it nationally. You don't see it, Brett.
Yeah.
But like where you're at, you see the riots and the thing and with the thing.
Yeah.
No, the Villages people, they're like, you know what, man? This guy's kind of a fraud. And I think even the liberal women are kind of like, I don't know if I really like this guy either. Because
who? With Byron Donald?
To say kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they want things to kind of stay, they want their taxes to be right. That's a big one.
Yeah.
The exemption, the whole deal. They don't want to see all this shit screwed up.
Right.
That Ron DeSantis has worked so hard. I got to give him credit.
Yeah.
For doing for the last 8 years.
I'd rather run for governor than senator, Thea. I really would, or congressman than senator. I would. Senator is an old boys club. You have to have a lot of money to run for senator. That is a very different thing. Governor and congressman or state rep. I mean, you see Sabatino, the state rep. He's in deep trouble. Deep trouble. Look that up. I'm a woman, and I agree with you, Linda Perino, Marshall. So there's a lot of women here that agree with you. I mean the Maxine type. Alita says Maxine type Waters, low life individuals. Yeah, I mean there's a ton of those DEI ass clown women that are in there that that are retiring. They're going bye-bye. That are old. Nancy Pelosi's another nut job, wing nut. All these. I mean, it's always on the left. It is. I mean, Marsha Blackburn is going to win her governorship in Tennessee. Good for her. I think that's fantastic. And when you start to see where women on the right are going to exponentially grow, and I think, unfortunately, Nancy Mace's problem is that she, like Chip Roy, who basically attacked MAGA and President Trump during January 6th, that's why he didn't support you. That's why you're not going to win the governorship in South Carolina. He put his hand on Pan Evitt and said, go get it. And that means that's an automatic win. And you know what? I don't know if Mark Lynch is going to win in South Carolina. I hope he wins. He's supported by President Trump. Actually, I think Lindsey Graham was endorsed by Trump. I think he endorsed him again, which I cannot believe. But you know what? That means the grassroots got to get out there. So a lot of times, a lot of these people that are out there, yeah, Anna Paulina Luna, I'm not a fan of her, but she was smacked today. You can't put your hand on a congressman. And then she was smacked by, they had that committee with the there was an oversight committee there, and with Marco Rubio, and asking questions, and then the pink, what's that pink group that came out, and I guess they followed her, and one of them smacked her. Code Pink, why weren't they thrown out? Why were they able to assault you and get away with it? That's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, why is that possible? Why aren't they all rounded up and arrested like January 6 people were? All right. Oh, you were beating up cops and stuff. You just assaulted a congresswoman. Why aren't they all rounded up? Why aren't they just automatically banned from ever coming there? See, that's the point. When it's okay on one side, it's not on another. And it's always directed there in this way. Yeah, there are strong conservative women that are over there that are mouthy, that are lippy, and get their point across, and they do good work. But they don't sit there and embarrass themselves like DEI hires or AOC or all these other idiots in some way that just basically just go off the batshit handle and fly off the freaking crazy, and they can't control themselves, whether they're on meds or not, Marshall. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's really, the whole thing comes down to you've got so many people. The most susceptible people are young women. They are very susceptible to being. That's a fact. That's not me just saying that. Yeah. They're very susceptible to being convinced of certain things and brainwashed. 84%
of the women, or young women, or Gen Zs, or what have, voted for Mandami because they thought they were going to get free shit from Daddy. All right. And how's that working out for you in New York? It's not. It's not working out.
You know what the smart women are doing that are out there? They're out there raising their grandkids and their kids. They're out there helping their families. They're out there running the ship.
Working two jobs, they're doing a lot. So you can't. Yeah. I mean, what I'm saying is that when I look at congressmen, low EQ, low IQ, as President Trump talks about them, DEI or what have you in some way, he basically is pointing out the fact is that if they weren't doing this, where would they be? Okay, they'd be robbing and stealing, raping and killing. They would be doing something, a part of the grift. That's what we're looking at right now. All right, I'll end with this, and then that's my time of the show. But I'll drop the gold pills. I want to thank Trump One for the cookie and Wooden USA again for the 409. Thank you, Thea, for the can. All right, let's continue on. So here's Whitlock coming out. Jason Whitlock, South Carolina convenience store. Rick Chow, I never heard of this story, was found not guilty of the murder after shooting and killing a 14-year-old black kid back in 2023. This is jury had black fatigue, seen the danger of young black men recklessly walking around with the gun. Apparently, when I looked up this guy, Chow, his store has been robbed, pilfered, vandalized, and now recently destroyed, windows broken in by the same group of black mob mentality that basically are now targeting Asians to go after because it's all being put out there on social media. It's like it's Asian problems now, because this guy won the case. But this guy defended himself multiple times. And finally, he had to put some freaking, let's put it this way, feral monkey down. And this is what happens when I tell you all the time, vigilantism, stand your ground. What happened is coming to a theater near you. Because if you don't elect the proper people, if South Carolina doesn't want to, control this nonsense in some way, and you allow this guy to be robbed left and right, and you know what? And I'm going to watch old movies from the 80s and 90s where the guy pulls out a shotgun behind the counter and blows your head off from trying to rob the place. Why isn't that okay? Why isn't it okay? Why is it that we're allowed? Oh, you're allowed to steal milk or water. Next thing you know, they're going to come in and rob you and steal your cash register or rob your safe or take something more. I mean, at this point, when is stealing? When is it okay to just steal in general and say, oh, well, it's a loaf of bread or it's a bag of M&Ms? It's still stealing. If you let it go once, you let it go twice, then it becomes a habit. Then you lose money on the business. You can't allow this to go on. It's theft of services. It's enough with this shit. And the fact that this stuff goes on, and I'm shocked. Whitlock said this, but listen to this. This blew my mind.
Or the jury for this case was half black. Half the jurors, 12 jurors on this trial, half of them are black. They come back with a not guilty verdict after 8 hours. So I want you to think about this and the larger point that I'm going to make or infer from this. 14-year-old kid comes into a convenience store, behaves suspiciously, gets stopped before leaving the convenience store, says I didn't shoplift anything, walks out of the convenience store, gets followed by a grown Asian man that appears to be in his 50s, maybe early 60s, I don't know, and his 23-year-old son, and they chase him down as he runs off 130, posing no threat. He's running away from them. And yes, I know at some point, according to the prosecution, I'm not saying the defense, the prosecution is saying that he fell and the gun falls out of his hoodie. At no point in the store does he flash a gun, does he threaten anybody. This is all on camera. He's running away. And so based on what I think, I'm like, well, they got to find this man guilty. The people in that jury room, the black people, they got black fatigue too. They're like, man, yeah, I know Rick Child didn't do everything right, but this 14-year-old boy did bring a gun into his gas station. And I don't really know if he pulled the gun. I can't say 100% sure that he pulled the gun. I don't know. And so I'm going to go with, hey, man, this Asian man, he may have gotten overheated. He may have chased this guy down for no reason. But hell, I got black fatigue too, and I'm just tired of it. And I can understand how this happened. And so many of them are sitting there in that jury room like, man, I'm not going murder. I'm not pandering to the Black Lives Matter crowd. And this man has sat in jail for 3 years.
3 years he sat in jail. And finally his case, he gets dismissed. The court finds him not guilty. 3 years. And they trash his store after this. I mean, it's absolutely insane what we have to live through. It's not just black fatigue. It's feral niggas running around, committing crimes, not being prosecuted for their crimes. And if the law is not going to do it, unfortunately, you're going to have to take the law in your own hands. That's why Death Wish was such a popular movie. When crime had risen to a point where it was out of control, and Bernard Goetz was a hero in 1984 for shooting 4 black men on a fucking train for trying to rob them. But at that time, those laws were what? Antithetical to what they are now. They're just as ghastly and ungodly and violation of your Second Amendment as they were then, as they are today. Something has to change. It's either us or them. And now it's not this. Now you have black people all over the place now calling out Asians, where you have Asian communities now responding in many different places. Koreatown, remember back in the riots, they were on the roofs shooting black people because they were protecting their stores. Where were the cops? When they're not around, it's hunting season. You have to consider that. You're going to be the target. And when you see this guy say that it's not black, I'm just tired of seeing black folk continue to act like, no, it's not black folk. Okay. It's the fact is that there are many ways of looking at this because the laws are not going after them. They're getting a pass to commit murder, rape, and whatever. And people are just tired of it. And people are shooting back as they should, as they will continue. And I hope more happens. You have to defend yourself, stand your ground, and maybe in some way where they escalate to a certain level, vigilantism might have to rise to what? Utilize the Good Samaritan laws to protect your fellow neighbors. And that's what I'm suggesting. Because what you see here right now, that is an outrage. And then what happened to that English kid where the cops didn't do anything and that cop surrendered, Norfolk, we stabbed multiple times by some Punjab Singh who just got a year. He's in prison in life instead of the death penalty. It's just disgraceful how all these things happen. What a sad thing, Marshall, that happened to that guy. 3 years in jail, 3 fucking years, and finally gets what? The jury finds him not guilty, and then half the jury was black.
Yeah, one thing I could see out of that is that if you got half the jury is black, they're even finally getting tired of it. And you see it over on TikTok and all X and all these where black people are like, I have that. Black people are actually saying, I have black fatigue. Well, that's all well and fine, but I'm practically, you're seeing this talked about a whole lot now, Brett, online, and that is segregation. I almost feel like we need to just have our own segregation.
Yeah.
You run your area, we'll run ours. I'll be my chef. I'll do my own crop.
Yeah.
I don't need this shit, man.
I mean, if we're talking about that for homeless people, if we're talking about homeless people want to do drugs, and President Trump is like, yeah, we'll just give them land and let them use the land they want. And that's it. You don't go off it. There you go. You know, I mean, if we're going to do that, then maybe we should start thinking about other parameters for other people who want to have a viability to live separately from other groups of people. Thank you, Thea, for the shades and the can. Thank you, Trump One, for the cookie. I dropped the gold pills. That we're over our show. That's our show for this evening. I will return shortly, probably Friday, maybe Thursday, if I can get in a show a lot sooner and stuff like that. So I'll see you then. I wish everybody well. Have a good night. Marshall, you too. We'll see you, everybody. Ciao, Bella. Bye.
Good night.